Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Oh my, we've waited 364 days for today, our Christmas show at Zeb at the Ranch. Yesterday at Denny's, and today it's kind of waxing nostalgic as we bring back memories from the past of old Christmases gone by. Enjoy Zeb at the Ranch, and right now here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, call in. Oh my goodness sakes, here we go, rocking and rolling, and we've already got people in the studio. One of them is already eating a cinnamon roll. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch, brought to you by our dear friends at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and of course some of our great advertisers. Western Waste Services, always at your disposal, 734-6969. And now, without further ado, our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, hello, Linda.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Absolutely fantastic. God bless you, Linda, and I know that we're going to be hearing your beautiful voice later on this morning. Merry Christmas, and thank you so much.
And Merry Christmas to everyone there. You're sure welcome. I'll call you back later.
All right. Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody. It's our Christmas show. And we want to get things started off on the right foot this morning with our weather forecast, brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for that blue door. It's blue, all right. We were over there yesterday. All your carpet and flooring and kitchen construction, home decor, everything, whatever you need to make your house a home. And Kyle and Whitney wish you a very Merry Christmas. Right now, here's the weather.
Looks like we are going to be having a white Christmas. Here is your weather forecast for today. Looks like partly cloudy skies, high of 31, tonight low of 16. Going to be a little bit on the breezy side for today. Winds out of the east, right around 12 miles an hour. For tomorrow, we are expecting afternoon rain and or snow showers. Going to be warming up to about 36 with an overnight low of 29. Snow showers are expected for Saturday, high of 33 with an overnight low of 21. And for Christmas Day itself, going to be a snowy day, high of 23 with an overnight low of 8. And then for Monday, partly cloudy and 21. That is your Christmas weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, Gina, thank you. She does a phenomenal job on our weather forecast. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, the sponsor, at 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for that blue door, whatever you need to make your house a home. And the good folks at Cheney Flooring and Home Design wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. I have a couple of homeless people that were walking down the road, and they're going to pick up your microphones. Are you finished for a moment so that you could possibly speak?
I'll talk to you in a minute. Got a mouthful of food.
I know you do. My cinnamon rolls. Would the lovelier portion of your family say good morning? Get real close to that, Donna. Real close. Yeah.
Is that better?
Nope. You got to get real close.
Okay.
Pretend you're kissing George. Well, bad analogy. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No.
We'll go for it. He's got a mouthful of food. It's not a pretty sight.
Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
I feel so humbled to have you come over here today. It's really nice. By the way, before we get started on some Christmas wishes and everything, I want to remind everybody, no sale. No sale. Don't load your cattle up. Don't go down to the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. You may be the only one there with your critters, I'll tell you that. No sale today at Burley Livestock, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Merv, May, Cade, Rogge, and Lance Udy, the sale that works for you. All wish you a very Merry Christmas from the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. No sale today. By the way, Mrs. Mass, how are you this morning?
I am wonderful. It's a good day today.
You have such a soft voice today. What happened to you?
I do.
Normally you're pretty dynamic and chasing George with a broom or a hammer.
I haven't irritated her yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Wasn't that a great day at Denny's yesterday?
It was. It was fun.
Wow.
I just wish I could have stayed a little bit better, a little bit longer.
Oh, I understand, but you know what? Santa Claus was there, and Mrs. Claus showed up too, and we had good interviews with them, and learned a lot about Santa Claus. Learned a lot about some of his bad habits.
Yeah, he's an elusive little critter.
Little? No, that's not exactly what
Elusive
Mrs. Claus
big critter,
said.
then.
Mrs. Claus said that for Christmas she was going to go down to one of the car part stores and put overload shocks on his side of the bed.
Yeah, we might have to get a 3/4-ton sleigh next year.
You guys are just wonderful this morning.
Well, I know, but we're talking about Santa Claus, and
Yeah.
you said some nasty things about him yesterday yourself, sir.
I heard.
Sometimes he gets a little pudgy and mouthy,
Yeah, I do. I know. I've known him for quite well for years.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about old-fashioned Christmases. Donna, where are you from originally?
From California.
What part?
Sacramento
LA. area. L.A.? And
That's
George,
back when it was nice.
George, where are you from when they circled the wagon train and let your wagon off?
They're just west of Hayburn.
West of Hayburn, okay. I'm going to be really nasty to you today. He was a bundle of joy that they found on the trail.
They tried to leave him, but he got up and followed. That's what his sister
the
said.
Indians picked him up and took him to a teepee, and he said, "Not my teepee, no way."
Yeah, but see, when I was just a little guy, I used to go on cattle drives from the Shawties out to Wapai Desert. Took us 4 days to the cows. So that's been a while.
It took you 4 days to learn how to saddle a horse.
You're probably right.
Lord, I don't know what Dan did. She told you good morning, you stuff.
Well, you ate my cinnamon rolls. You were in the house exactly 35 seconds. I looked at my clock, and you already were grinning down on a cinnamon roll.
That is not true. It's about 10.
Oh, okay.
Don't get between him and the food.
I learned that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Open house, and we're going to be talking about Christmas, and let me pay some bills, and then we'll talk about old-fashioned Christmases. What did you do? We'll find out what you did in your family.
Okay.
For Christmas. All right. And calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, I had this notice sent in for George this morning before I do this commercial. And this is for George here at our house for our all the food on the table. Avoid eating carrot sticks. Anyone who puts carrots on a holiday buffet table knows nothing of the Christmas spirit. In fact, if you see carrots, leave immediately. Go next door where they're serving rum balls. Deanne, put out the carrot sticks.
There's no carrot sticks in this cinnamon roll.
Oh, my. Okay, Ramsey Heating and Electric. I just thought I'd throw that at you.
That was cute.
Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Oh, wonderful people. We ran by there yesterday and said hello to them and wished them a Merry Christmas, and they wish you a Merry Christmas. Located at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley with all your furnace filters, all your heating and electric needs. All you have to do is stop in. They open at 7:30 in the morning till 5 Monday through Friday. Ramsey Heating and Electric wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Also, we were yesterday over at Denny's, and I got to tell you something. I have never been treated better than I was yesterday. Thomas and the whole crew, Terry, all of those folks, Michelle, Lachelle, I mean, we visited with all of them. And wonderful people, and the food is fantastic. And did you have those little pumpkin poppers with that dip in the cream sauce, cream cheese?
I have to be real careful anymore.
Oh, do you? But I'll tell you what, I ate one for you. They are delicious.
Deanne ate the whole bowl full of
I heard that.
Yeah, she asked me if I wanted one. She picked it up and ate it.
Now, I heard that. I know she sneaks all those goodies. Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley, and also at 291 Pole Line in Twin Falls. All I can say is the food is fantastic. The service was absolutely way perfect. And we just had a wonderful Christmas party over there. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that Deanna and I were given in just a little bit. But our thanks go to Denny's Restaurant. America's Diner. I absolutely urge you, for your last-minute Christmas shoppers, of which I'm one, stop in there and enjoy a great meal at Denny's Restaurant. What did your family do, perhaps, that was kind of a tradition every year for Christmas, Donna? And please, get real close to that mic.
Well, we used to, just mainly on Christmas morning, Mom and Dad always told us anytime after midnight, they always made us go to bed early.
Yeah, ours too.
And, you have to get your rest. But anyway, we used to...
That wasn't the reason.
I know, but we didn't know that back then.
Okay.
But anytime after midnight, we could wake Mom and Dad back up.
After midnight?
Anytime after midnight. And
your parents were gluttons for punishment.
I had wonderful parents. My dad was just phenomenal.
Really?
He raised all 8 of us, plus my grandmother lived with us for as far back as I can remember.
Wow.
And he always made Christmas the most special day. We didn't have a lot. But he always made sure that we had what we needed, sometimes what we didn't need. But he just made it a real special day. And I don't know whether it was my oldest brother or my oldest sister that used to set the alarm for 2 minutes after midnight.
You got to be kidding me.
No, sir.
My mom and dad would have absolutely rolled us into a snowball, put us in the freezer, and not let us melt till April.
Well, we didn't have any snowballs, but it snowed once in a while there. But it was just, and Daddy never ever got upset, or
really?
I think he was waiting for us.
We were allowed to get up at 4, and that's when we were little kids. Dad used to go out and take care of the steers and all the horses and everything, and we were allowed to sit on the top step of the upstairs and then wait, kind of like a matador waiting for a bull. We were allowed to wait there until they opened the door and said, okay, you can come down now. And that was like Moses parting the water. We didn't run down the stairs. We rolled down the stairs. And then we were allowed to open our presents. So
we used to go, it used to be youngest to oldest.
Yeah. Oh, really? Really?
We all had to get dressed. We had to be dressed, and our beds had to be made.
Yeah.
But started.
They made you make your bed before you opened your presents?
You betcha.
They didn't want to check my room. I'll tell you what.
Well, there was a few of us that just did the throw the thing.
Yeah, the throw the covers over thing.
Like George
and then
does
always
now.
take your hand like this and go along the base of the pillows and make it look like it's got a nice crease. It's a mess underneath.
Dad used to flip the quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad did that on my bed. He'd have lost a lot of money. I'll tell you that.
But, we always had a lot of fun. There was always something going on.
Really? Now, let's talk about the guy that got thrown out of the teepee. What about you, George? Tell us a little bit about your family. Evidently, they like cinnamon rolls.
Zeb, before I get on that, if I may, I would, that song, I'll Be Home for Christmas?
Oh, boy, yeah.
That's very special, and I want to give a special thanks to our men and women in uniform, from the EMTs, firefighters, policemen, and our veterans.
I couldn't agree more.
And so this year, let's say an extra prayer and keep them in our thoughts, because it's that song, I'll Be Home for Christmas, is in my memory only, and that is so dear and so very true.
You know something? I kind of wish you wouldn't have brought that up, because when I came out here in 1969, and you're sitting alone in a little bitty apartment that you rented in strange territory, you don't know anybody, you can't go anywhere for Christmas, and my mother, that's the tree right there that was sent out years ago, and that's all I had for Christmas. And then I listen to the radio and I hear that song, and it's funny how my eyes started to sweat.
It is. You know,
Still does.
you think you're macho and you're bulletproof and everything else.
No.
But when you get away from your loved ones, you're out there all by yourself. That's a big old world and little old you.
Absolutely. By the way, I don't know if you heard me yesterday on the radio mention this, and I'm going to say this quickly and then do some commercials, and then we'll go back to the old teepee creeper over here. That gentleman that was lost up in eastern Idaho and they couldn't find him, they found him.
Is he
and he
okay?
is going to be all right. He had a little bit of hypothermia, I understand, but he is okay, and his automobile had broken down, and he's going to be okay. I wanted to put that out, that his name was Paul Mealing, and he's going to be okay, and
God
they
bless
did
him.
find him. They
God
did find
bless
him.
Miracles do happen.
On Christmas. Let me pay some bills here real quick. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. By the way, just because George and Donna are here and devouring cinnamon rolls, you can call in and wish everybody Merry Christmas. So please give us a call at 436-2244-1866-927-4587. I've never had a guest on my program that sits there and just looks at me and chews. That's George.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, right.
It's your cinnamon roll, and it's, if I can intimidate you with it, I'll do it.
Deanne said last night, well, did I make enough cinnamon rolls? And I said, is George coming? And she said, yeah, I don't think so.
You know.
Okay, hold on. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. The number to call, 678-1191. Give them a call so they can help you get back to being and feeling you. Nick Greenwell and all the physical therapists, they know all the exercises, they know all the sports medicine, and they've got that hydrotherapy pool. Oh, it's good. You stop in, feel better, they'll help. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 678-1191. And real quick, I also want to remind you about Barry Equipment and Rental. Oh my goodness, they've got all the equipment to get the job done right. Pardon me, and they've got 3 locations, South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Listen to what they've got on used rental Bobcat equipment that they're going to be selling. 0% interest on 48 months. Better give them a call or stop in right now today. Equipment rentals, retail equipment sales, Barry Equipment and Rental, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. I got to tell you something, both of you, and this is also to the audience that's going to be affected. I had a call on my answering machine yesterday afternoon when I got home from Idaho Power. And guess what they're going to do tomorrow morning, Friday, the weekend of Christmas? They're going to turn off the power tomorrow morning on a very cold morning for 3 hours so they can do some equipment checks. Now, here are families trying to bake. Moms and grandmas trying to bake, and families are at, visiting at the house and everything for the Christmas weekend. Why couldn't they have waited a few more days, done it after Christmas?
Or done it like last week.
Yeah, tell me, please, what's the common sense in this? And besides that, 3 hours when the temperature is not supposed to get up above maybe 24 tomorrow.
Yeah, you better
It's going to be doggone cold. There's a lot of elderly people sitting in a house waiting for Christmas, and Idaho Power turns off on an equipment checkup. This is nuts.
They're a big business.
And I called Idaho Power and I said, well, you don't want to know what I said, but I was complaining heartily that was not the smartest move that Idaho Power has ever done. No. So if we have a glitch in the power on my program this morning, they're getting even.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. That was not smart. It's going to take care of about 6 or 7 major areas in Magic Valley, Murtaugh being one of them. Not smart.
No, that's just poor planning.
That's very stupid planning.
Yes.
And I have no allegiance to Idaho Power. They don't run any ads on my program, and I'm going to tell it like it is on my show. That is not well thought out on Christmas weekend. It's stupid.
Yeah, that's just
very stupid. Now, George, how did you celebrate Christmas as a wee one?
Christmas was, it brought the family together, but we were poor. We got an orange for Christmas. We was lucky.
You know what? A lot of people have said that back in those days.
Yeah, it was right after the war, and the people were struggling, and it's, but it was good times. I had my brothers and sisters, we put a sock or something overhead and play Santa Claus like that, just to bring into the Christmas deal. So.
Do you feel, George? I know I do. I think we're pretty close to the same age, but times were tough. Money was not readily available in the bottom part of the Wrangler pockets, and what you got was very much appreciated, and the other things connected to it, like the gatherings of the family and everything. And I've talked about this quite a bit on the air. I looked forward more than most kids that age, I think, for the school plays that we had the last day before we had the Christmas recess, and all the families getting together, and Santa Claus came in and had basically some oranges and some candy and a little paper sack for all the kids and everything. But that was a big deal.
It was. I remember about the only time we had candy at Christmas time. My parents would give us, I think it was 10 cents to go to the movie, and Santa Claus would come in and give everybody in there a sack of candy at that Burley Theater.
Now, I went to, and I'm very proud of this because I feel like my education was better than most. I went to a one-room country school, and all 8 grades were in that one-room country school. And Mrs. Kiltz, and I love her to death. I mean, that woman, I got to tell you how much I cared for her. She was she could have been a sergeant in the Marines. And I still bear scars from the ruler that hit my hands on more than one occasion, like 753. And believe me, I love that lady. And years ago, when Deanna and I went back for a visit at Christmas time, we looked her up, and she was in a rest home. All of her family had passed away, and she was in her 90s, and it was one of the greatest treats for me ever was to go to that rest home, sit in a chair, hold her hand, and tell her how much I appreciated her.
It is, Zeb, to me today, the best part of Christmas is giving.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can get gifts, yeah, they're okay, you know, but the part is just giving of yourself to put a smile on others' faces. There's nothing better.
Absolutely. And, you know, saying that, you know, you and I and Donna and Deanna have worked together over the last couple of years to, I'm not going to go into it too much, but just to help other Christmases, let's say. And, oh, boy, I really get into it. I have a ball.
Yeah, don't get between him and that toy aisle.
Oh, boy.
He'll just run your butt over.
I'm a 69-year-old kid, man. Look out.
Yesterday, Zeb, if I may, Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus got through. Yesterday we went out to Frank and Cheryl McCall's, Jim McCall's dad.
Yeah.
And beautiful people. And anyway, Santa put the headset on Frank, and he smiled from ear to ear, and I tell you, that was $1 million night.
Oh, yeah.
That was just wonderful.
Yeah.
And I got 2 big hot cinnamon rolls too, right out of the oven.
You ate cinnamon rolls yesterday too?
He gave me.
Why don't you use one of Deanne's wheelbarrows to run your tummy up into the house when you go?
I'm going to have to buy a 1-ton truck.
That's why you put the ramp in, huh?
Yeah, I got 2 little tiny pieces as I was driving.
Really? Well,
yeah.
He was nice to share.
It was.
Yeah.
You know, I thanked him after I smacked him.
You know, by the way, may I say that yesterday, and I get a little emotional when I talk about this, but the lunch bunchers, most all of the lunch bunchers showed up yesterday. Did you know that? In the other room there at Denny's? And God bless them, many of which, you know, brought Deanna and I gifts and everything. And I know I'm going to forget somebody, so I'd better not mention everything on a singular basis, because you know you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. No. But everybody was so wonderful to us. But a couple of people that absolutely stood out, and I just started crying on the air. Eddie Donegal and his wife gave me a Green Bay Packer watch.
Gosh.
Whoops. And then Doug Martin and the Martin family and Alaska's Best. Look at that for the Chicago Cubs, that plaque, winning the World Series right there.
I didn't get to see that yesterday. That is awesome. That is awesome.
You talk about warming the cockles of an old man's heart. That was it. Because, man, I tell you what, and so many other gifts. And I can't thank everybody enough. That was really pleasant.
That's the best part for George and I. The best part for us is, you know, we don't have any kids at home anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what Christmas is really all about.
Okay, what do we got here?
And
okay, go ahead.
To be able to give, you know, of yourself, that's better than any gift you could ever give.
You know, we just got a note, and I'm worried about these folks. They are lunch bunchers, and God bless them. I understand that Donna Perkins has an infection in her knee. I think she had some knee surgery and now has an infection.
No.
So we want to keep her in our thoughts and prayers.
You bet.
And Dorothy Silcox, I mean, I love that woman, and she's just out of the hospital. We don't know what happened, but I certainly hope she's on the mend for whatever, and has a Merry Christmas. So God bless both of those folks.
You've got the greatest bunch at your lunch bunch.
Oh,
every one of them is just wonderful people.
Well, don't get me started, because I'll start tearing up, because you start to act like family and love like family. You really do.
It's really hard not to.
This program is, I'm going to be really honest with you, I thought about terminating it here about a month ago, because, you know, I wanted to spend more...
protest.
Well, I know, but I wanted to spend more time with Deanne, and I wanted to spend more time, I know it sounds selfish, doing for us. And we sat down and did a lot of praying about this, this. And we've decided to continue. And we're going to keep on rolling. But I want to stress the fact, and I mean this, and it's not meant to just give her praises, but I could not do this program if it was not for Deanne. I mean, she is my number one girl Friday. Yeah, I mean, she's my wide receiver that catches all the passes and makes sure she scores touchdowns, and I appreciate it. Now I'm going to wax philosophic here in a moment. Let's not forget Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they're located at 1218 9th Street, which is right across from the Minidoka Hospital Emergency Room with Dr. Christine Pickup. And she is the doctor of audiology, and she knows all about sound and hearing, believe me. And they wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Please call them for a hearing screening, 312-0957. After you reached adulthood, and by the way, people out there in the audience, you want to call in, give us a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587, and chime in on some of these. But did you go to college, Donna? Did you leave and go to college?
I did a little bit of college, a couple of semesters.
Did you?
For nursing.
Did you have the occasion to go back after college for the Christmas holidays? You didn't. But as an adult, did you go home after you'd left home for Christmas?
Yeah, I did. When I moved to Salt Lake first, and then I moved here. I haven't been anywhere else. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Really?
I used to go home to visit my folks a couple of times a year, and I've got my two older sons live. One lives in Cameron Park, and the other one lives in Sacramento.
Yeah.
And I used to go down and visit them. I never really went home for the holidays. Usually I was working.
You know, may I interrupt and say it's hard to?
It is.
May I say, I don't know if it's other people's experiences out there in the audience, but I found that going home for Christmas, after you've left home, like with the wife and kids, etc., it's really hard because in my perspective, it was like we were taking away from our own family situation here. And I don't mean to sound rude when I say that. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah. I do. You know, it's really hard to pack up all the presents, and you know, and then we had family members that didn't have a whole lot either, so we always tried to pitch in. But you know, you always feel. I always wanted to make our memories. Yeah. You know, I have my memories of my youth in my heart forever.
Absolutely.
You know, and with the kids, and it's hard for them to be away from home because they want to play with all their toys.
You go back there and like going to Wisconsin, and you get there with the kids, and it's kind of like Aunt Millie coming up and pinching my cheeks 170 times or whatever. And she's a wonderful lady. She was absolutely a great lady, but she was one of those touchy-feely squeeze type ladies. And I mean, my cheeks were black and blue. Yeah. But you know, it was one of those things where you keep thinking, oh, is everything okay at home? Are the horses okay at home? Are the steers, everything being done?
Dogs, the cats.
Yeah, and when you get home after being away for Christmas to your own home, you feel like, oh boy, I really missed something. That's my feeling anyway. I don't know. George, what did you think about that?
Yeah, my thought is home is your home.
Yeah.
You know, it's easier for the young ones to come traveling than it is for the old ones to travel out.
That's true.
And it's probably a lot safer. And I guess each family, as generation goes on, home is a different spot.
I will say, though, that when you go home, and especially in a German household, of which I was raised.
Me too.
Mom, I don't remember many days without my mother wearing an apron.
I know, isn't that phenomenal?
Yeah. And you hardly see anybody wear aprons anymore.
Yeah, I don't.
Don't you?
No.
And she would always wear that apron. She had like 974 aprons. And I never will forget one time I came home from college for Christmas. And it took forever to get from Minneapolis back down to southern Wisconsin. The roads, the snow, everything was really terrible. I was like 6 hours later than we anticipated because it was just like crawling at 30 miles an hour. And I pulled in the yard, and I never will forget the front door just flew open out there at the farm, and Mom standing there with her apron and wiping her hands on the apron. She was always wiping her hands on the apron, and the tears streaming down her face because I pulled in the yard. I finally made it. And we didn't have cell phones in those days.
No.
And so we couldn't let anybody know that we were really running late and where we were. So I'll never forget that.
And they worry, you know. And I find myself doing the same thing. Your kids are all grown, you know, now we do grandkids and great-grandkids, but you still worry about your kids.
Oh,
when
there's
they
no
travel. It's like, okay, you call me when you get there. You know, just to let me know. You don't have to say a whole lot. Just say, you know, I made it. We're fine. Have a good night.
And then we'd go in the house, and then it was all, you know, how you been and all this kind of stuff. And Mom was one of those kind of people that 6 or 7 different varieties of cookies was not enough. She had to have like 100 different varieties of cookies. The Spritz cookies and all the cookies with the frosting on them, and then the chocolate with the corn flakes, and the chocolate with the great big, not the almonds, but the cashews. I mean, it just went on and on and on. So
it is. And Zeb, you know, we're talking about old-time Christmas.
Yeah.
I think 2 things that stands out that's really took that away from that is your cell phones and your computers.
Yeah.
How many times in the last year have you even written a letter to somebody?
Well, see, I have not changed. I would rather write letters than I would emails or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I do some, naturally, with my business. I think it's a good time right now for me to share some holiday eating tips if you're going to a party for the rest of the weekend. Would you like to hear these?
Sure.
These are really important. Number 1, drink as much eggnog as you can. And it's very rare. You can find it. You can't find it any other time of the year, but now. So drink up. Who cares that it has 10,000 calories in every sip? It's not as if you're going to turn into an eggnog alcoholic or something. It's a treat. Enjoy it. Have one for me. Have 2. It's later than you think. It's Christmas. And here's one of my favorites. If something comes with gravy, use it. That's the whole point of gravy. Gravy does not stand alone. Pour it on. Make a volcano out of your mashed potatoes. Fill it with gravy. Eat the volcano and repeat as often as you want. But here's one for George. Do not have a snack before going to a party in an effort to control your eating. The whole point of going to a Christmas party is to eat other people's food for their expense and for your freedom. Have fun.
Amen.
Yeah.
And see, there, when you give me a hard time about eating your salmon roll. Now, don't you feel guilty?
Have you ever known me to feel guilty?
Not when I'm eating a salmon roll, no.
Oh, I got to pay some more bills here. You know, my buddy Tim Vaughn was going to try to make it by this morning. He's going to try to stop over later on this morning and see us, and he's with Streamline Precision. And boy, have they got something for the dairyman, the ranchers, the farmer, the businessman that need steel buildings on their property, or like in the dairyman's case, need free stalls, commodity storage facilities, maternity barns, whatever. Now is the time to put Streamline Precision to work for you. Get everything done before spring. Call them for a bid today and they can get to work. 431-7314. Tim Vaughn and Streamline Precision wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Oh, and by the way, guess who we stopped in and saw yesterday? And I just love his family, and they're just nice people. And that's Zach over at Minnecasia Sales. Super nice people. And if you haven't taken the time to realize that it's winter, Look outside. You better check on those western windows. Keep the cold air outside. Be snuggy and warm inside. And I had a little trouble there. Excuse me, I choked to death. Mini-Cash Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, right across from the airport with Zach and the whole crew. They sponsor Dr. History every Tuesday at 10:06, and they wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas from Mini-Cash Sales. You know, I think some of the warmest memories of Christmas were the great big Christmases with the cold and snowy winters in Wisconsin. And I have seen back in like the 1960s and early parts of the 70s, snowfall back there. Our farm was about 32 miles southeast of the capital of Madison, and in the town called Fort Atkinson. And I remember one winter vividly that we got out of school for Christmas vacation about 6-7 days before Christmas. And all of a sudden on the Monday preceding Christmas, it started to snow. And it kept snowing. And it kept snowing. And I'm not exaggerating that most of the farmers in that area had to get work crews to come and tunnel to their barns so they could get out and take care of the livestock. Wow. Ours was no exception. From the back of our house to our barn was about, maybe 150 yards. And they had to tunnel to get out there with that snowfall. I remember it was like 6 or 7 feet of snow with blowing conditions, and it just absolutely drifted. The roads were closed. Nobody was going anywhere except on a snow machine, and they literally had to tunnel to get the livestock taken care of.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Zeb, I remember the winter of 48 and 49. We had about 2 feet of snow and the wind blew, and it blew horrible. And as a child, I remember we used to walk on snowdrifts up on top of the house and jump off the other side. Dad took a team of horses and a sled and went through all the Shawties area down there and went down to get groceries because we were stranded. I can remember that. So. And at Christmas time, the old time, remember after Christmas you got out there and you played in the snow and doing sled rides on the old sleds.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see that anymore.
No, we had a ball. We had, it wasn't Nottestead Hill. I'm trying to think of the name of it. But anyway, it was over about maybe a mile from my house. And it wasn't well thought out. It was a great hill to go tobogganing and sledding down. But if you went too far and you went too fast, there was a new barbed wire fence across the bottom that separated the property.
Ouch.
And I never will forget, we had this guy, I think it was Mike Heiliger, I could be wrong, but out of memory, and he had a brand new down-filled coat that his parents had given him for Christmas. And it looked like you had walked into a chicken house and shot a shotgun off when he hit that fence. He didn't get hurt, but man, he could have got killed.
Yeah, and it's those are the good days. You know, I look back at the old Christmases. We didn't have all electronic stuff. If we had a toy, it was wound up.
Oh, yeah.
So that was, Christmas today is, I guess, more commercialized.
The dumbest gift that was, and I say this out of respect, but my mom and dad both agreed after the fact that it was the dumbest gift they ever gave my sister and I. Do you remember those guns, they look like little rifles, and you loaded them with plastic balls?
Yep.
And then you'd shoot at each other? We didn't have those guns in the house, open less than 5 minutes, and I had cracked the glass on the front of my mother's china closet, and my sister had wiped out one of the light fixtures. And it's funny, those guns disappeared. I never could figure it out.
Do you ever remember the old potato gun?
I do.
The pistol you'd take, stick it in a raw potato, and boy, that put a welt on you.
Oh, my.
And that gun put a lot of welts on my backside,
and those things today, why, my goodness, you'd have everybody, that's child abuse. Well, you can't play with guns. We had a ball. Sure, we got injured. Sure, we got some black eyes, but we grew out of it.
And we survived.
Absolutely. I got to do a weather forecast.
Oh, right.
I'm running late. wait.
Just go right ahead.
I'm surprised we haven't had our callers call this morning. Evidently, they're sitting back and remembering Christmas.
Sleeping in.
Yeah, well, they better sleep in this morning because tomorrow the power will be off. Anyway, don't forget our urgent cares. And they, of course, bring you the weather. And Kyle James, I ran into Kyle James yesterday. We saw him over at Riverview Urgent Care. And that is one of the nicest young men in business today in all of Southern Idaho. God bless him. And, of course, he and his staff with the Riverview Urgent Care at 382 North Overland in Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care, 2392 Addison Avenue East in Twin, and Jerome Urgent Care, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. Minor emergencies, major care. They're open 7 days a week serving you and your family. You be sure and remember the urgent cares. And right now, here's the weather.
Looks like we are going to be having a white Christmas. Here is your weather forecast for today. Looks like partly cloudy skies, high of 31, tonight low of 16. Going to be a little bit on the breezy side for today. Winds out of the east, right around 12 miles an hour. For tomorrow, we are expecting afternoon rain and or snow showers. Going to be warming up to about 36 with an overnight low of 29. Snow showers are expected for Saturday, high of 33 with an overnight low of 21. And for Christmas Day itself, going to be a snowy day, high of 23 with an overnight low of 8, and then for Monday, partly cloudy and 21. That is your Christmas weather forecast for Zep at the Ranch.
Oh, thank you very much, Gina. Brought to you by the Urgent Cares, Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care in Twin Falls, Jerome Urgent Care in Jerome, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Hey, you know what else makes for a Merry Christmas is skiing. And you know, the greatest place to ski in Southern Idaho, Pomerelle Mountain Resort. And they really put forth the effort. They are open 7 days a week, including Christmas Day. Contrary to whatever you read in the Times News, they are open Christmas Day, and they're going to be open 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and night skiing starts on December 27th. Still time to zip up there and get a gift certificate to put in the stocking stuffers at Pomerelle Mountain Resort. Man, it is going to be fun. They're going to have all the lessons, the lodges open, the food service, ski boarding equipment rentals. Oh, yes, ski and enjoy it up at Pomerelle Mountain Resort. I used to ski.
Whew.
I did. I learned from a dear friend, Jim Olson. And they used to have a place in Twin, and they taught me how to ski with the outriggers on the crutches.
I like to watch it.
It was a disaster.
I wasn't going to make a comment, Zeb. I could just picture in my mind's eye. But I never learned to ski, but I love to watch it, and I love to watch night skiing.
Well,
it's
you know,
beautiful.
I wanted to ski, and I heard that because my legs are basically shot, and they thought that I could learn like the amputees, you know, with the outrigger skis, the shorter skis on the crutches, and then the skis, the regular skis. Oh, I covered all 4 points of the compass all at the same time, and I visited the emergency room many times.
I'll bet you did.
I got to be friends with them. Hi, Ernie, I'm back. Okay.
I'm going to take just a second. I'm going to go out and visit your lovely bride.
Okay.
I just want to wish everybody out there a very Merry Christmas and a really happy, healthy New Year.
I hope so.
And God bless everybody that, you know, has the courage to stand up for the little guy. And I'm going to double up on George's thanks to the military, our firefighters, our servicemen, our police departments, our EMTs. God bless them, and let's keep them safe.
They really don't get a holiday.
No, they don't. And, you know, most of them are under attack right now, and I could go on, but I won't. But God bless them, and let's keep them safe and keep them in our prayers.
I agree.
And Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for everything you do. And most of all, just for being our friend.
Well, you're very welcome, and we feel right back at you, believe me. And you can go out and bother Deanne for a little bit.
I'm going to leave you with George.
That leaves me with the cinnamon roll Ravager.
But he's finished.
He's done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
More out there, though.
Oh, there's more out there. I know that. George, I'll be with you in just a second. Don't forget some other really good folks that are wishing everybody a Merry Christmas. Bedke Treasure Barn. Hold that mic really still over there, George, because sometimes you get a little wiggling over there and I can hear it. You got to be nice. Okay, you're going to change and go over there. Bedke Treasure Barn, located at 1558 Normal Avenue on the corner of 16th and Normal and Burley. Oh, man, what an inventory. What a great place to shop. What a great place to save your bacon and go over there and get your last-minute Christmas shopping done. Unique inventory is really the truth. Daryl and the whole crew at Bedke Treasure Barn, everything from barber chairs to collectible toys, it's all there. And believe me, they're open from 10 to 5. You stop over to Bedke Treasure Barn on the corner of Normal and 16th in Burley. Wishing you and yours a Merry Christmas. George, you served in the United States Navy, and you probably, I don't know this to be a fact, but I'm certain that you probably spent some Christmases away from home.
About 4 of them.
Oh, my. That must have been a little tough, too.
It's tough.
I need you to get real close, George.
It's really tough. You go in there, and I was bulletproof,
Yeah, we all think we are.
And you lay in there in your bunk at night, Christmas Eve.
Oh, boy.
Or Christmas, and it's the loneliest feeling you'll ever have.
I've missed probably 3 or 4 Christmases at home and away from the family, and I think you touched on it. I mean, you sit there and the loneliness hits and the quiet, and then the thoughts creep in of what are they doing at home now on Christmas Eve, or what are they doing now at home on Christmas morning. And I don't care if you think you're John Wayne, it's going to bother you a little bit.
It does, and anybody says it don't, I don't think it's being truthful.
Yeah.
I really do. It's just so much goes through your memory, and then you can think about the past, the old days, which might have been a year ago.
Yeah, really.
But it means a lot being home.
Did they do anything while you were in the Navy and serving to basically help eliminate a lot of the loneliness, or did maybe a special meal, or what did they do?
Yeah, on Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving, we'd have a big meal. I was a cook in the service.
You were a cook?
Yeah. And so it's...
And how many people... Never mind, I better not ask that. Go ahead.
But we'd put out a special meal for them and tell them Merry Christmas when they come through the line.
Is it really true that you always hear that the Navy food was better than the Army food?
I believe it was, because ours was probably fresher.
I see. You get it first.
Yeah, and it's... there's good cooks and all of them, but you can only cook up what they dish you out.
Right.
A lot of the Army Marine, they got a lot of those battle rice, K rations, e-meals and stuff like that.
Let me ask you, do you think from back when you served in the Navy and the celebration of Christmas and Merry Christmas and maybe a little Christmas tree and everything, are they getting away from that today with this absolutely stupid political correctness?
I think they're getting away from the religious part of it more. I don't know for sure, but I imagine they still have their Christmas dinner.
I see.
But far as blessing God and paying tribute to that, I think is slowly slipping away.
Well, I can tell you this much. Nobody's going to take away my faith. Nobody's going to take a right to my faith. And Christmas is for one reason, and that's the birth of Jesus Christ.
It is. And we celebrate that, but it seems like we're kind of getting away from that and going back to more, which I repeat again, commercialized.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many presents do I get? What did it cost? How big is your tree?
Well, that's true. But you mentioned it earlier this morning, and I think it's really true, that the giving part of Christmas. Now, I'm not trying to say anything that somebody out in the audience is, oh, you're just trying to be a nice guy. You're trying to think you're better. No, not at all. But the giving of Christmas, you and I and Donna and Deanne, we started something years ago, and I'm not going to get into it, but, oh, boy, I mean, I just have a ball doing that.
It is. And, they think that, boy, that's really nice of you giving. But I get more out of that than what I give out. It just makes a better person of you.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And there is nothing this time of the year that makes me feel I don't know, any better than seeing the lights of Christmas, and there are the Scrooges out in the audience and around anywhere that, I don't want any more Christmas music, I hate Christmas. Listen, I can put up and enjoy Christmas music for 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't care if somebody else is offended by it or not.
Now, I had the privilege last night, Mark and Denise over at Easy Money Auto has got a child care center, and they had, I don't know, about 17 of those little rugrats in there.
Yeah.
And now some of them was just months old up to 6, 7 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
And Santa walking in there and seeing a smile on those faces, it's priceless.
It's priceless. I got to pay some bills here. Folks, come on, get out of bed. Call me next hour. We're going to continue on with our Christmas show. We've got a lot of people coming by to say hello this morning, and I'd certainly like to hear from you, so please give us a jingle. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 3 locations taking care of you and serving you with your traction tires, all your tire chains, the best in batteries, the best in brake service and front-end alignments and shocks and struts. They really care. They really honestly care, and they're there to answer all your questions and help you for safer driving. Stop in and see them today. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Yes, they all wish you a very Merry Christmas. All the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. George, we're getting ready to go to CBS News, and we're going to have some Christmas music, and I know this gives you an ample opportunity and plenty of time to go refill your plate and be ready for hour number 2.
It is. And Zeb, if I may, on behalf of the Rupert Veterans Memorial Incorporated, I would like to thank all the sponsors that helped make what we did this year possible.
Absolutely.
We couldn't do it without them. And want to wish them a Merry Christmas, and all your listeners and you and your wife a very Merry Christmas.
Well, it is. And like I said, Deanne and I, we're looking forward to an excellent time over the next couple of days, with the exception of the power going off on Friday morning. But anyhow, God bless you. We're going to be back in about 7 minutes. Damon, be sure and play some Christmas music, and here we go. We'll see you in 7 minutes. Good morning, Merry Christmas. Oh my goodness, I gotta have the silver bells right there. Oh my goodness. Merry Christmas. And boy, oh boy, do I want you to call. Boy, oh boy, do I want you to stop in if you're driving by, whatever, and just we'll wish you Merry Christmas together. Zeb at the Ranch, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and also some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. They've got a great idea. Do you have some folks and family members that are hard to buy for Christmas? Well, Western Waste has a great idea for a gift certificate for them, Western Waste Services, to pick up their garbage for a year, a month, whatever you want to purchase. Great idea. Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them today, 734-6969. By the way, yesterday we stopped over and said howdy to Dr. Bill and the crew over at Ark Animal Hospital. Nice people. Dr. Bill, Dr. Liz, the whole crew at Ark Animal Hospital, not too far from George and Donna, as a matter of fact, where they have warm hearts for cold noses. I'm telling you what, mixed animal practice, big or small, they love them all, and they know how to care for your animals. Please write the number down, give them a call, stop in, 678-1177, 678-1177, Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street in Heyburn, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. You know, One of the greatest things, George, is to have everybody gathered around your Christmas tree. Are you going to have family? And get real close to that, Mike. Are you going to have family at your house this year for Christmas?
No, our Adam and Abigail, they went to California. They left yesterday.
I see.
And so the other family, and maybe I'm selfish, I've got family that lives mountain home, what have you. I just soon they stayed home. I don't want them on the road.
Oh, well, that part's true.
You know,
that part's true.
I miss them and I love them. I'd love to have them all here, but I feel safer if they stay home.
You know, in just a minute, what I'm going to do is share a little bit of a Christmas story. Oh, by the way, I found this, George. You'll appreciate this. Special holiday songs. For people that are schizophrenic, the song, Do You Hear What I Hear? Or how about this one? Multiple personality disorder people love this Christmas song. We three kings, disoriented we are. I love that one. Or how about this one? Narcissistic Christmas carol. Hark the herald angels sing about me. Or here's one for all the paranoid listeners out there. Santa Claus is coming to town to get me.
There's probably a lot of truth to that one. And there's another one, too. I tell my granddaughter all the time, that song, Noel.
Yeah.
Spelled backwards, that's Leon. Wouldn't that sound stupid? Leon?
Yeah, Leon. Yeah, you're right. I never thought about that. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Merry Christmas, Deb. This is Kyla over at the Minnecaja Chamber of Commerce. I just wanted to wish you Merry Christmas real quick this morning. I know you've got lots of fun guests in your studio.
Well, yeah, but wait a minute. I thought you were coming by for a lot of the goodies over here.
I know. I'm still going to try to make it out, but we're a little short-handed this morning, so I ended up coming in early to open up, and here I am now on the phone with you.
Well,
I
Kyla,
didn't want to miss you, so I want to wish you Merry Christmas.
Very nice of you. Merry Christmas to you. And let me ask you this real quick. When you get this close to Christmas and you're sitting at your office and people are all getting ready for the big Christmas dinners and the cookies and everything, and they're not really out and about stopping at the chamber, does it get a little lonesome over there?
Well, we haven't been lonesome so far. We've had lots of folks still coming in. They're popping in to buy those last-minute goodies for, I think, housewarming gifts that they're taking with them to different parties and whatnot. So we've just been really pleased to see how many people have been stopping in, and we're real appreciative of that.
You know, talk a little bit about that now. There are a lot of last-minute Santa Clauses like myself, and that gift shop over at the Minnecaja Chamber of Commerce, you've got really and literally one-of-a-kind items, don't you?
Yes, we do. And, you know, the biggest one that we've gotten a lot of calls on lately have been the Dr. History CDs, which is a wonderful, it's a CD where he narrates. You can stick it in your car and drive around and have just your own private driving tour of the entire Minnecaja area. And so if you're looking for a really unique gift, I would really emphasize that one. We've had a lady call in this morning, and she was like, do you have 4 of them? I need 4 of them. And so she'll be in later. And then also we've just got all kinds of Idaho candies and goodies and food items and just some fun stuff. A lot of folks are getting ready for the big CSU U of I game.
Right.
And so we've got University of Idaho stuff here as well.
You know, Kyla, you mentioned Dr. History, and I've got to tell you that 1 week years ago, I was needing a filler. And I thought, you know what, I think I'll do a little bit of a historical review or something. And long story short, we came up with the idea of Dr. History, and I had no idea it would get so big and so popular.
You're a trendsetter, Zeb. There you go.
Well, it's been a real blessing, and Dr. Ken Turner, that is Dr. History, has done a wonderful job. And, you know, we're listened to all over the world, even over in China.
Yes, I would believe it. I would believe it. So, and I talk to tons of people all the time. I'm amazed, honestly, to be in the grocery store or walking around town, and they're like, we heard you on the Zeb Bell Show. So you do some wonderful things for the community, and I think, you know, Merry Christmas to you, and just thank you. Hats off.
Well, you are a real blessing, honestly, at the chamber office, and I wish you the same. And if you do get close to my doorstep, you stop in and come on in and say hello. But to you, Merry Christmas and a very blessed New Year.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Zeb. You have fun today. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. What a wonderful lady, Kyla over at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, and she's wishing everybody a very Merry Christmas.
Zeb, I've had the privilege to meet her a couple times, and that is one neat lady and a great asset to me.
She is. I mean, I have never seen that lady without a smile on her face.
No.
I haven't.
I seen over at Mad River Laser here, a month or so ago.
Yeah.
Just as friendly and nice and just a good people person.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, I can see why they hired her. I mean, if a smile was worth $1 million, then they banked $2 million on her.
They would.
Yeah.
She's a great asset to the community.
Absolutely. Yeah, we could all take lessons on smiling.
Oh, boy, we could.
You're not kidding. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget, too, Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Joel Heward, his family, and his staff, they all wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But life goes on. And we all remember that when there's the passing of a loved one, Hanson Mortuary is there to help. All with the arrangements, with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. Please write the number down and remember, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Have another call? Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, gentlemen. Talking of Christmas, I've read numerous accounts in articles, that were talking about how on November 8th, as the night went on, they became literally giddy because, in the past 8 years, we've been down such a depressing, doubtful road. And when you find something that is so important as saving your country, and you find somebody that seems to care more about the country than their personal gain, and then there's lodges to boot, and people that he will appoint that will actually do the job and not be some ideologue, you just literally say to yourself, well, this is the best Christmas gift we could have gotten.
Anytime
comes Christmas, because we don't have to be doubtful and depressed, we can be encouraged and confident, and we can reach out to our fellow man because we feel like when there's confidence, you can do a lot more than if you're depressed, obviously.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Free agent, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, what I was going to say, Randy, what you're bringing up is really the truth, because I've found over the last couple of weeks that I'm feeling more optimistic. I'm feeling a vibrancy. I'm feeling like this country has a great opportunity with the leadership and the administration to turn things around. And what really solidified that feeling was this: if it offends the Democrats and makes them nervous, I know we're on the right track.
Well, here we have a president that says at least two things that I agree with: Islamic terrorists and Merry Christmas. And so I say to myself, right there is a start. And if he does nothing more than enforce the laws that are already on the books, and there's no rhino Republican or Democrat that can stop him, this country will be a heck of a lot better off than it's been in the last 8 years or longer. And so, in that respect, it's a Merry Christmas. Thanks, gentlemen.
All right. God bless you. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thank you so much. That was nice. I appreciate that. Randy's a good old boy. George, what are your sentiments on that? I'm starting to feel a real optimistic approach with the people that have been named in various cabinet positions and business, and everybody else is saying, hey, things are looking up. There's more optimism.
It is. With the, because I'm a veteran, and with all of the military generals he's appointing, Lord, look out. We're going to take kick butt takes name. It's going to go back to what about us instead of about the
I think there's a 7-letter word that's going to be reinstated for America and Americans. And that 7-letter word is respect.
Yes. Yes, and also I read in the paper the other day that the state of Idaho, now if you file a frivolous lawsuit, you lose, you pay the attorney fees the other. And I think that's great.
You bet your life. George, at this time, and for my audience, we're going to share a couple of Christmas stories. And here's one that I haven't had on my program the last couple of years, and I wanted to share it this year. And I think you'll enjoy this one, so stay tuned. A woman was Christmas shopping with her 2 children. After many hours of walking down row after row of toys, and after hours of hearing both her children asking for everything they saw on those many shelves, she finally made it to the store elevator with her 2 children in hand. She was feeling what so many of us feel during the holiday season time of year, getting that perfect gift for every single person on our shopping list. Was overwhelming pressure to go to every party, every housewarming, taste all the holiday food and the treats, making sure we don't forget anyone on our card list, and the pressure of making sure we respond to everyone who sends us a card. Finally, the elevator doors opened, revealing a crowd inside the elevator. The mother pushed her way in and dragged her 2 kids and all of her bags of stuff with her. As the door closed, she couldn't take it anymore, and she blurted out, "Whoever started this whole Christmas thing should be found and strung up and shot." From the back of the elevator, a quiet, calm voice responded, "Don't worry, we've already crucified him." The rest of the trip down to the number 1 floor was so quiet you could have heard a pin drop. Don't forget this year to keep the one who started this whole Christmas thing in your every thought, every deed, every purchase, and every word. If we would all just think how much better this world would be if we'd remember the reason for the season.
I agree. That's a great story. And Zeb, if you still, I don't know if you have it on hand now, but one of the great stories of Christmas time is that little boy that threw a brick.
Oh, I've got that. I'll do that in just a little while.
But that is...
Yeah, that one, I have a hard time getting through that.
It is. And not just at Christmas time, but every day we need to stop and look around and give a helping hand.
Amen. You know, I just want to ask where everybody is this morning, and be sure and give us a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, every year we've tried to share our feelings and thoughts on Christmas with the last broadcast day prior to Christmas. And that's why I really invite all the calls and everything, so give us a jingle on the landline. I want to talk to you about being a grandpa at Christmas time, so stand by for that in just a minute. Don't forget Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and they're open Mondays through Fridays 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 5. Oh my, they've got all the new snow machines. I mean, the angel dandruff is falling, and there's a lot of snow up there, so have fun. And they've got the timber sled systems. You know, it's a snow bike conversion kit. They've got a fantastic accessory department for you to go Christmas shopping and find just the right kind of a gift, and a great service department. All of this and more at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Yes, sirree, Bobby, that is where the fun is sold. George, when you became a grandpa, did it change your perspective, and I need you to speak up and get real close to that mic, change your perspective of Christmas?
Oh boy. That's putting it mildly. And if I may start out first, you know what a grandchild is. That's the reward you get for not choking your kids when they're growing up. But on a serious note, Grandpa is one of the greatest blessings you'll ever get.
I agree.
You can be a father. A father is trying to raise a family.
Yeah.
And you try to teach them right from wrong. You don't always make the right decisions. A grandpa is an educated father, and you can save the kids a lot of heartaches, kind of nurture them off in the right direction, and the love is just, it's just superb.
You know, and caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. But you know, being a grandpa, with our kids, we kind of we watch closely our spending. We had to,
Yeah.
but being a grandpa, you can buy all these wacky Christmas presents, and then know that maybe in a couple hours you're going to leave the parents with all the noise and the misery.
But sometimes the grandkids stay with you for
Yeah,
a while,
that's true too. Yeah, caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody, and thanks for everything that you do for us all through the year. You're awesome.
Well, Lorna, God bless you. That means an awful lot to me, and I know also to Deanne.
Well, you're just great, great friends, and I just appreciate you so much.
Well, I want you to just sit back in your chair and have a cup of hot chocolate and have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next couple of days. God bless you, my dear friend.
Well, God bless you too, and just Merry Christmas to everybody, and thanks for everything.
Oh, you're a sweetheart. And I might mention that that's Lorna, one of our dear lunch bunchers. She is there all the time. You can depend on Lorna, I'll guarantee you that. Lorna, God bless you, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, and Happy New Year.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, guess what, George? Guess who's over in the main studios right now waiting for us? And normally we always say, where'd all these dogs come from anyway? But this morning we're just going to say, Merry Christmas to Officer Mort. How are you? Let's try it again.
Merry Christmas, Zeb.
He's a little slow there.
He drank too much hot chocolate, I guess. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. You know, I've been listening here and to your Christmas program and everything, and it actually brought to my attention and stuff, and that with your little Christmas story that you were telling about the mom and her two children. I fell in love the other day with a song that was put on the radio by one of your sister stations by Toby Keith. He put it out in 1995. And it's called Santa, I'm Right Here.
Oh, yeah.
And it is one of the most heart-wrenching and touching Christmas stories, Annette, that I've ever heard through song. And anybody out there that wants to hear a good Christmas song, Annette, Google it and find it. I mean, it is just the most amazing Christmas song I think I've ever heard. And I actually started singing it on karaoke as well.
Ken, let me ask you something on behalf of Minidoka Animal Control. You do so much for the community, etc. But, you know, talking about Christmas music, and you are a very accomplished singer, and you go to various events and sing for them, etc. But have you noticed, like I have, in the last decade, that because of the stupidity of political correctness, and also that group of people in our country that want to see Christmas thrown in the trash can, there has been a diminishment of the value of Christmas music, and a lot of entertainers are not putting forth any new Christmas songs.
You know, I have noticed that, and and it is sad. But I think with the new administration that we're getting, Annette, that may change. I'm hoping that it'll change, because Christmas is a real festive time of year. Like I was telling Wills in here while I was sitting here listening. 6 years ago, Camille and I started a tradition in our house, and every Christmas we buy a birthday cake, and we celebrate the birth of the Christ on Christmas Day. We celebrate His birth.
That is nice.
And my kids, Annette, just love that tradition, and they look forward to it every year because the meaning, they understand the real meaning of Christmas when we do that, and it is just. It makes us feel all warm and fuzzy inside every time we do it, and I'm hoping that they carry that tradition on with their kids, and then their kids do the same, and we can keep that kind of a tradition going on.
You know something? I got to compliment you. I had not heard of that before, and I just absolutely tip my resistol to you because I think that's a phenomenal idea, one of which I think we'll try to incorporate into our Christmas. I say God's blessings to you for that.
Thank you. It was something that we wanted to do. Everybody talks about keeping Christ in Christmas, and we come up with that idea. I mean, and it has been such a blessing in our life since we've done that. I mean, we can't ask for more on that at this time of year, other than being with family and friends and celebrating the birth of Christ.
Somebody asked me the other day, well, what do you want for Christmas, Zeb? And I stopped and I thought, nothing. I don't need a thing for Christmas. As a matter of fact, and I don't want to sound like I'm holier than thou, don't take it that way, but I'd rather give for Christmas than receive. And I know that there's a man in my studio, and we both agree that giving is a lot more fun and a lot more heartwarming than unwrapping a gift for yourself.
It is. I mean, there is a present underneath the tree for me, and there's a present underneath the tree for my wife, but that's the only thing that's under there, because the kids want to make sure that they give something to Mom and Dad. But we're to the point we would rather give to everybody else, and whether it even just not be an actual present, but a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year gesture and a hug and just show respect and that's all we really care about at this time of year.
Real quick, Ken, one of the sad parts of any holiday season, especially during Christmas, is the fact that there are animals out there, dogs that might not be taken care of, dogs that are left alone, dogs that are out in the cold, dogs that might not have a master that really cares. Hopefully, I don't want to hear any sad stories this morning. I hope really you haven't had to pick up any stray dogs.
Actually, we haven't. We have had a few owner surrenders. Matter of fact, I brought some information in on one that we've got. She's a 13-month-old red tick hound. She's been kenneled for 8 months. I mean, the people that had her didn't have the time for her and everything. She's a sweetheart of a dog, just loves to be with people. She is not housebroke, and that's not spayed, but is current on all of her vaccinations. And would make somebody a great pet. I mean, they just need to spend some time working with her and everything. But I mean, just a real fun-loving on that little girl. I mean, and this time of year and stuff, and not only do we appreciate having a nice home and a warm place to stay on that over the holiday season, so do all these unwanted pets. So if you're looking to adopt, I mean, not necessarily a puppy, and there's a lot of older dogs that have already got some of the training and know what it's like to be loved, but they just want a good, loving family. Get a hold of us. I mean, you got a couple of days till Christmas. We'll get you set up.
All right. I'll tell you what, Ken, your family, it's been a real pleasure to know you over the many, many years, work with you, and from our house to yours, a very Merry, blessed Christmas, and thanks for all you do.
And a Merry, Merry Christmas to you guys, too, Zeb.
All right. God bless you, man. Ken Mort, Officer Mort with Minidoka Animal Control, a dear friend. George, did you know that I, years ago, was his baseball coach?
Yeah, you used to tell me that.
Yeah, true story.
And if I may, I'd like to wish Ken and his family a very Merry Christmas. He is asked him to perform or use a sound system,
Absolutely.
And he's right there.
Absolutely.
An awesome job.
Let me check over with Wheels. Wheels, do we have Rita Ramsey on the line?
She has not called in yet, but I will let you know as soon as she does.
I appreciate that. Hopefully Rita will call in so we can give her a Merry Christmas. Want to remind everybody about Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. All your life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. Know what? We're going to simplify things this morning, and we're just going to tell you that Cameron and Siemens Insurance wishes you and your family a very Merry Christmas. And they wish you the very best for a Happy New Year 2017. Give them a call. Call them. They are the insurance professionals. 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. You be sure and give them a jingle as soon as you can. And they wish you Merry Christmas. You know, George, my grandpa, I got to tell you this, as we wait for Rita, if she's going to call in this morning. My grandpa, my mother's father, he was the kind of a guy, he was overweight. He operated a great big meat market on Main Street in Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin. And with a beard and that big roly-poly belly, he looked just like Santa Claus. But every year at Christmas time, he would take off and, along with my grandmother, and they would go on a shopping excursion like you couldn't believe. And I don't care what toy it was, I don't care what gimmick it was, whatever. They would buy everything, and they would just absolutely almost obscure the Christmas tree up at their home, and we would go up and celebrate on Christmas Eve with them. And after we had a very, what they called special Christmas Eve dinner, then we were opening the presents. Do you know what the dinner was every year on Christmas Eve? And it was something that to this day I can't get down.
What was that?
Oyster stew.
Oh, I love that.
You do?
Oh, yes.
Are you serious?
Yes, I cook it in the house. My wife, she gets upset.
Well, they would have oyster stew, and then they'd have baked beans, a great big, huge pot of baked beans, and then my grandmother would have all kinds of different breads, you know, the cranberry, like Deanne makes, you know, and all that kind of stuff and everything. Well, I loaded up on the breads and the beans, but I wasn't going to have any of that oyster stew.
Yeah, and I don't like the baked beans.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, I love baked beans.
And if I may say, Zeb, Don and I did Christmas for Adam and Abigail last weekend.
Oh, did you? Before they left, huh?
Before they left.
Oh, my.
And they put us both in tears.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
I told my granddaughter, I said, we got X amount of dollars, and we're going to take you and Adam shopping. And my granddaughter says, Grandpa, you need the money more than we do.
Oh, my.
And I asked Adam, and he said, Grandpa, I don't need anything. I've got everything.
You know, and I can believe what you're saying because I know those kids.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
They've got good heads on their shoulders.
They do.
And mature beyond their years.
Way beyond their years.
Way beyond their years. How about you folks chiming in and giving us a couple of your Christmas experiences, if you would? We'd love to hear from you. And while I'm waiting to see if Rita's going to call in this morning or not, and I have been asked to read, and let's see. I think you wanted to hear that story about the brick, didn't you?
Yes, that...
May I go through that right now?
That is very moving, yes.
All right, we'll have that right now. A young and very successful executive was traveling down a neighborhood street, going a little bit too fast in his brand new Jaguar. He was watching for kids darting out from between parked cars and slowed down when he thought he saw something. As his car passed, no children appeared. Instead, a brick smashed into the side of the Jaguar's side door. Oh, my goodness, the man slammed on the brakes and drove the Jaguar back to the spot where the brick had been thrown. The angry driver jumped out of the car, grabbed the nearest kid, and pushed him up against a parked car, shouting, "What was that all about, and who are you?" Just what the heck are you doing? You threw a brick at my car. It's going to cost a lot of money to get this fixed. Well, the young boy was very apologetic. "Please, mister," he said, "please. I'm sorry, I didn't know what else to do. I threw the brick because no one else would stop." And with tears dripping down his face and off of his chin, the youth pointed to a spot just around the parked car. It's my brother," he said. And he said he rolled off the curb and fell out of his wheelchair, and I can't lift him up. Now sobbing, the boy asked the stunned executive, Would you please help me get him back into his wheelchair? He's hurt and he's too heavy for me." Moved beyond words, the driver tried to swallow the rapidly swelling lump in his throat. He hurriedly lifted the handicapped boy back into the wheelchair, then took out his fancy handkerchief and dabbed at the fresh scrapes and cuts. A quick look told him everything was going to be okay, and he said, "Thank you, and may God bless you." The grateful child told the stranger, the owner of the Jaguar. Too shook up for words, the man simply watched the boy push his wheelchair-bound brother down the sidewalk toward their home. It was a long, slow walk back to the Jaguar. The damage was very noticeable, but the driver never bothered to repair the dented side door. He kept the dent there to remind him of this message: don't go through life so fast that someone has to throw a brick at you to get your attention. God whispers in our souls and speaks to our hearts. Sometimes we don't have time to listen. He has to throw a brick at us.
And that's sad, but that's so true. All through our life, every day of our life, we don't stop to smell the roses. It's hell-bent for election from point A to point B.
I couldn't agree more. And that story, I have to read it and pause because it does make me bubble up a little bit. But that's really the truth. Really the truth.
Is. And you and I both can look back, and that fits us to a T at one point in
Oh, yeah. I found myself guilty, and I'll bare my chest. I get to going too fast and worrying about the me, and the us, and forget about the other things. Who have we got out here? My goodness, we got a whole house full. My gosh. We got get over there and grab a microphone. We have are you still the mayor?
Yes,
He's still the mayor of Murtaugh. I mean, we're talking where we're up with the big dudes right now, like San Francisco, Chicago, and everything else. Well, Mr. Mayor, how are you, Mr. Hunsaker? Hey, grab that microphone. He's gonna do it all professionally. He's gonna put his ear sets in. Are you leaving?
Yes. Before you get started, Zeb, I've got to go do some ho-ho-hoing.
Some ho-ho-hoing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, anyway.
Okay.
I do want to thank you for what you do, and you and your wife are very dear friends. I want to wish you and your listeners a very Merry Christmas.
Well, can't do it without you. By the way, we had a guy on the radio yesterday. He sounded so much like you, but it was Santa Claus, and I wonder maybe if you're not related.
There's a chance.
There's a chance. Okay.
Anyway, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. God bless both of you. Thank you so much. Dear friends right there, and I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. You can just slide right over to that one if you would. We've got kind of movable chairs right here. While I'm waiting to introduce this next gentleman, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Streamline Precision and Tim Vaughn. Oh, my goodness, now is the time. And I mean that. Now is the time to get a hold of Tim Vaughn with Streamline Precision Building, and call and get a bid on whether you need a new steel building or dairyman if you're looking to remodel with free stalls, commodity storage facilities, maternity barns, whatever. They can build anything and everything. Get the bids right now from Tim Vaughn at 431-7314. Streamline Precision Building, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Well, good morning, Mr. Mayor D. Hunsaker of Murtaugh. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Now, your family is not exactly just one or two people. I mean, you've got, 173 people coming over to your house?
Well, I don't think there's quite that many, but we'll have it full.
Yeah, you're the only family that you have to pass out name tags, I think, don't you?
Yeah, sometimes I do because I can't remember them all.
Now, honestly, you're a grandpa like I am. Has that happened to you where you have trouble with names sometimes?
Usually you just start at the top and go to the last one, and when you get somewhere where it's the right one, they'll raise their hand.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, how many are going to be at your family this Christmas?
Oh, let's see. I should have 27 there.
27. And they range in ages from
18, 17 to 1.
To 1. Are they going to open gifts and everything?
Oh, yeah, the night before.
The night before. Are they going to camp out at your place?
No. We will send them home to make sure Santa Claus finds them.
It was really funny how you all of a sudden started shaking your head no even before I started the question. In other words, Grandpa wants his sleep. Really, 27 people, that's a pretty good house full.
Yeah, we have such a great family. We really do. I'm blessed to have such a great bunch of kids and grandkids, and and thanks to the good Lord above, they're all healthy.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I can accompany myself with that statement that I am so blessed with Toby's family, Jake's family, and Mom and I. We're still plugging along. It's going to be a great Christmas.
Yes.
Anything special that you do on Christmas Eve?
Well, we usually they have the little community Christmas program up here at the City Hall, and that's at 5:30. Always on Christmas Eve, and we really enjoy going up to that and being a part of that.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of fun, and it's enjoyable to go listen to and be reminded of the reason for Christmas.
Absolutely. But then when everybody gets home, everybody trods in the front door.
Yes.
Everybody sits down, and the kids take off at a high lope.
Nobody sits down, Zeb.
Oh, really?
No, we got to back up, okay? Because then you got to get the stuff out of the oven. You got to get.
Oh, so you have a big meal.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of fun.
What do you serve on Christmas Eve?
We have a lot of fun. We'll have some ham and we'll have some prime rib.
Now, what time are we supposed to be there?
We'll have a lot of fun.
Prime rib, did you say?
Yeah.
I'll bring the plates.
Yeah. You want me? I'll just cut you off a couple slices and bring it down.
Now, wait a minute. Jordan's going to be there.
Yeah.
Now, Jordan is not exactly a small child.
No.
And Jordan can pack away probably the entirety of that prime rib.
He's learning how to eat.
You learning? I'd say he graduated. No, and then you all eat dinner, and then what do you do?
Oh, we'll play a lot of games. We have a couple of pass around presents, little presents.
Oh, you don't open the whole.
Oh no,
not till Christmas morning.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, you're just like we are. Okay. Yeah. You got to save something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, what time do they go home?
Well, I'm usually pretty good about having them out of the house by 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. But then they are like a boomerang. They're going to come back.
Sometime the next day, yes.
Sometime the next day. Now, what time is sometime?
Well, you know, we have one thing in our favor this year.
I see. What's that?
We have church at 9 o'clock.
Ah. Okay.
So it'll be after that.
So that breaks it up a little bit. Instead of having the doorbell ring at 5:30. Okay, I understand. And I would imagine if it's anything like my Christmases I remember with family and everything, you get 27 people coming back to a house to open gifts. It can really be confusing.
Yeah, you know, bless my wife. She does such a great job of organizing that whole thing.
Really?
If it was up to me, you know, we'd probably be opening them on the 4th of July.
How do you organize mass confusion with the opening of gifts, though?
Well, you just ask my wife, because she can do it.
You mean one person at a time?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
And the kids abide by that?
She knows right where each one of them kids' presents are stacked.
Oh.
And yeah.
Well, now, that is a regimented way of doing it. So, in other words, you don't have somebody going under the tree and just kind of guessing.
No.
Oh, that's good.
No.
That's good.
Yeah, don't put me in charge of that stuff.
Now, you've done your Christmas shopping.
Why
was there a vague look on your face?
What day is it?
It's Thursday, the 20... What the heck day is it?
I still got
22nd.
I got 2 more days.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. You want to go together and save gas? I haven't started either. I got to do a weather forecast. Stand by just a minute. We'll talk more. Dee Hunsaker, our neighbor, and also the mayor of Murtaugh here. And our weather is brought to you by Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin and Company CPAs. Curtis Pope, Todd Phillips, Rob Oaks, Mitch Goodwin, and Lyden Crane with the best of tax return preparation and tax planning, retirement planning, and so much more. Please remember they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin and Company CPAs wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Here's Gina with our weather.
Looks like we are going to be having a white Christmas. Here is your weather forecast for today. Looks like partly cloudy skies, high of 31, tonight low of 16. Going to be a little bit on the breezy side for today. Winds out of the east, right around 12 miles an hour. For tomorrow, we are expecting afternoon rain and or snow showers. It's going to be warming up to about 36 with an overnight low of 29. Snow showers are expected for Saturday, high of 33 with an overnight low of 21. And for Christmas Day itself, going to be a snowy day, high of 23 with an overnight low of 8. And then for Monday, partly cloudy and 21. That is your Christmas weather forecast for Zep at the Ranch.
Oh, thank you very much, Gina, and brought to you by some really good people to get to know. You better believe it. Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin and Company CPAs, locations at 1710 Overland in Burley and 625th Street in Rupert. And they wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. You're not from here originally, are you, Dee?
No.
Where are you from? Down at Tremont, aren't you?
Honeyville. Yep.
Honeyville. Good Lord, did you know Randy Munn's growing up?
Oh, yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
And you came out this good? You're still the mayor? Yeah, he has transitioned a lot of lives.
Yes, he has. Randy's a good man.
Yeah, you know, he's quite a character. I haven't seen him for a long time since I retired 2 years ago. I haven't had a chance to cross his trail.
Let me tell you, he hasn't changed much.
Really?
No.
Really?
He's still, yeah.
Still kind of warped?
He's still there.
Okay. The board can't get any nails because it's too bent. So you were born in Honeyville?
Yep.
And still have a lot of family down there?
I have 2 sisters down there.
Oh, my.
And my mother. Yep.
Did you do anything growing up different at Christmas time? Kind of a tradition or anything?
Well, I can remember, how you always talk about the olden days.
Yeah, well, look at us. We got gray hair.
Okay. But I can remember my dad taking me and going saddling up the horse and putting a rope on it, and he'd pull me down the road on skis.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Snow or not, huh?
Snow or not, yeah.
And that's turned into kind of a fun athletic event. What do they call it? Snow juring or something?
Oh, yeah,
like
I seen that.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be on the rope behind. I'd take the horse, but I'm not riding that thing. No way. But, there again, the old days. I can remember doing the same thing on a sled. This is going to sound terrible. My dad tied us to the back of a pickup.
Oh, yeah, we did that quite a bit.
You did that, too?
Oh,
yeah. Today, he'd be arrested. We'd be sending his presents to the Waupun State Penitentiary.
You're not a kidding. Yeah.
No, you can't do things like we used to.
No. And sadly enough, I understand some of the dangers behind that.
Yeah.
We was really kind of stupid. But
we didn't care if we got hurt.
Yeah.
And we did.
but today's it's just different. We just,
Different society.
Yes.
And I've said this on the air, and a lot of people took offense at it, but I think that we're raising a nation of wussies that'll never really appreciate the value of things that we did.
Zeb, we used to have to work.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy, yeah. The chores had to be done before any Christmas presents were opened. Everything had to be done before there was any fun or frivolity, and that was a ironclad rule.
Yeah, you just knew that. You knew that if you wanted to go...
That's right.
I only lived a mile away from the foothills in the mountain there.
Yeah.
If I ever wanted to go hunting rabbits for the afternoon, that was fine. My dad didn't care.
But
the chores had to be done.
Yep, I agree with you. But some of the things we did, and our parents, they didn't even think twice about it. Dad would go out with an old lariat and tie it on the trailer hitch of the pickup, the old Dodge pickup, and my sister and I would get on that sled, and down the road we go. You had to be a little careful if Dad hit the brakes. Sure, you might eat the muffler, but you had to watch out for things like that.
If you could steer that thing into the borrow pit or through a ditch or something, so you didn't go into the pickup.
I remember one time, and I cannot remember the name of the family. It just escapes me, but there was 2 or 3 dads that were doing this on some of the backcountry roads. And this one dad, he kind of spun the truck, and it airborne that sled out into the field. And it was fun watching. I'm just glad I wasn't a part of it.
You wasn't on it.
Right.
I'll tell you, the one time, me and about 3 other guys, we went up to the gravel pits, and we had a toboggan with us. We packed that thing all the way up the top of that big old gravel pit.
Yeah.
We thought, this would be great. We can just jump on this thing and head to the bottom of this gravel pit, and there's a nice long run down through there. Well, we didn't know halfway down there was about a 15-foot drop because you couldn't see it because it was all white.
Wait a minute, you didn't study the landscape before?
No. But we studied it as we went over.
I've been there and done that. It gives you a really hollow feeling when you're in midair going, oh, this is going to hurt. I can relate to that. But, those were the good times. Sure, we had broken limbs. Sure, we had cuts that had to be sewn up. But, we lived through it.
Yeah.
And got memories they don't have today.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you. What about the family itself in the old days when you were down in Honeyville? Did they all get together, everybody come to your house or whatever?
No, it was interesting. We used to, you'd get up Christmas morning. The first thing we always did is our family always went to Grandpa's.
Really?
And Grandma always had some breakfast for us. And then from there we went to
What was your favorite breakfast on Christmas? I'm just curious. Did she have a standard fare?
Biscuits and gravy.
Really? My mother made strudel and scrambled eggs.
Wow.
Every Christmas.
Yeah, my grandma made biscuits and gravy.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. And you never forget that, do you?
No.
And I'll bet you if you close your eyes, you can still smell it and taste
absolutely.
it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then what?
And then we went to a couple of my brother's places. They didn't live too far away, so we just kind of would make the round.
Oh, my goodness. I'm surprised you don't weigh 700 pounds. We got a caller. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Bell. I just wanted to share a tidbit about what we did as kids that wasn't really safe. We used to hookey bob behind cars all the time.
Yeah.
Let them take off. When they got too fast, we'd let go and slide off in the ball pit.
You can't do those kind of things today, can you?
We have to, and now you did, Jay, but we got bounced around a little bit, but we survived. It was fun.
There you go. God bless you for your call. I appreciate it. You know, when I think of the things that we did, you know, as kids, like he was mentioning, the hooky bobbing behind the pickups or the cars and the sledding behind the vehicles and everything, and the snowball fights. Did you ever have any of those bloody-nose snowball fights?
You know, the fun thing was making the great big fort, you know, that you could try and hide behind.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? You know, and then you was 10 feet tall and bulletproof.
Yeah, and then the enemy would come after you and they'd kick your fort to smithereens.
Yeah, and then they'd have one of them big old ice snowballs. Yeah.
I remember wearing that on my nose for a long time. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Quickly, go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. You know, I have some fond memories about things that went on back east when I was a kid. Actually, in October, we had Christmas spirit. I remember my uncle's taking us down to the freight yard, picking up all those grapes out of from the freight train, and the wine season started for our families.
Oh, my.
They had the wine presses out, getting all that stuff ready for the holidays, and boy, those are fond memories.
Now, you used the wine press. You didn't roll your pants up and take your socks off and get in and stomp the grapes, did you?
No, I was always afraid somebody had athlete's foot, so we kept them out of the barrel.
Oh, Tony. Listen, to you and Mary, God bless you, and Merry Christmas. Thank you.
And thank you for the cards, and we'll be seeing you shortly, and we will come down there and take you guys to dinner.
Oh, God bless you, man. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks, Tony.
Merry Christmas to you and Deanne.
All right. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Okay.
Did you ever have, those are wonderful people in Twin Falls, and I've got about 2 or 3 minutes left here, but did you ever have a particular gift or present that stuck with you in your memory for the rest of your life on Christmas? I did.
You know, probably the one that I don't think I'll ever forget really is the day I got a BB gun.
You weren't like the little kid in the movie, were you? Did you put your eye out? Okay. You got a BB gun.
I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that stuck with you.
It did, because, you know, my dad kind of set me down. We went through all the rules about safety.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, and he said, this gun is just as deadly as a real gun, you know.
That's true.
And so but I always remember that, and he taught me well, you know, about safety.
Well, they didn't have to teach me because I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn anyway with anything. We've got a caller with another question. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hello, Zeb Bell. I just would like to give a shout-out to Dee Hunsaker. My brother is named Dee Hunsaker, and I know that we are relatives because we all come from Honeyville. And I can tell you that my dad grew up in Bothwell, and they used to do their sledding on that mountain just where the freeway is, just above Bothwell. And they would hold up the traffic so that he could come down that mountain on a sled.
Wait a minute.
It was a pretty amazing ride.
If that's the same mountain I'm thinking of, you people are crazy.
Well, he did say that he was afraid, and so he would usually be the one that pulled the sleds back up the hill on a horse.
Oh, my goodness.
He didn't like the sledding, so...
Well, if it's the hill I'm thinking of down there by Tremont in that area, and you've got more courage than I've got.
That was him. I wasn't born then.
Okay. God bless you and Merry Christmas. Thanks for calling.
And Merry Christmas, Dee Hunsaker.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you.
You know that lady, huh? There you go. And tell me, if it's the hill I'm thinking of, that's almost vertical.
Yeah. If it's the one that I'm thinking she's talking about, past Marbles up there where now them homes are sitting up on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can pick up a little speed right there.
A little speed? When you passed City Main Street, you were going 130. Holy smokes. You had more nerve than I had. We had a hill nearby, but, I mean, the only thing you had had to do is just remember the barbed wire fence at the bottom. I mean, it was just small little item to remember. And if you were behind on a toboggan, the last guy, you wanted to watch and see what the other ones did. Duck.
Yeah, exactly right.
I got to go to the news. Dee Huntsaker's here, mayor of Murtaugh, and we're kind of comparing Christmas notes, and we're going to be back in about 7 minutes with more. Zeb at the Ranch, don't go away, and remember, Merry Christmas. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Hour number 3 on our Christmas Day special show. Zeb at the Ranch, and, of course, our major sponsor, your Magic Valley. Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you and wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Along with our friends at Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them 734-6969. We've got a revolving door policy this morning, and we got more people coming on the air, and a dear friend, Gary Shoresman, is here in just a minute. Don't forget Streamline Precision Building with our buddy Tim Vaughn. And attention farmers, dairymen, ranchers, business owners, you need a pre-engineered steel building? Well, now is the time to get a bid from Tim Vaughn. Right now, they've got the Nucor, the Prime, the Sukup steel buildings, long-lasting, maintenance-free. Please get a hold of them right now so they can get started on the job and have everything done for springtime. Tim Vaughn at 431-7314. Streamline Precision Building, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Well, hello, Gary Shoresman, and Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas back at you.
You know, I love this time of the year, and I'm so honored that you would take the time to come over and say hello to us. We've been asking everybody that's been on the program this morning memories of Christmas past. Now, I'll ask you, where were you born and raised and celebrated your early Christmases?
About 3 miles north of hospital in Rupert.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know. I thought you were from the left coast. I thought you were down South California.
No, well, I spent a lot of time there later.
I see.
I came back.
I see.
Nope, I live on the farm that my grandparents moved on in 1926, and my dad was 7 when they moved there, and then I wasn't born there, but was raised out there, and now I own it.
Well, now you and I are pretty close to the same age.
I was born in 1941.
I was 47. But any changes in the way Christmas was celebrated at your house when you were a young lad over there in that country?
Yeah, I'm the only one there.
No, but did you have any special family traditions, etc.?
Well, there was always, of course, church.
Right, absolutely.
Whatever it was, no matter where Christmas fell, but there was always church on Christmas Eve, and we generally always went to the midnight or evening service.
Right.
And but always there was, no matter what day Christmas fell on, there was always a dinner. And we either had a turkey or we had a roast. It was just like a regular Sunday dinner. It was there, and family always came. And Grandma and Grandpa were there, and the aunts and uncles always came, because I live on the old home place.
I see.
So up until the time that my grandparents got really old and everybody moved away, I grew up with 38 cousins that showed up.
38 cousins.
26 aunts and uncles.
No good can ever come from 38 cousins being at a Christmas event and gathering.
Well, it did if you got kicked out of the house, and there you were until you called in for food.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
I've got a great memory of my dad. As kids, we always wanted a tall Christmas tree. My dad always wanted the little $2.99 one, that was only 2 feet tall.
Yeah.
So finally one year we absolutely wore him down. We wore that man down until he relented to buy us a tree that we probably couldn't have afforded in the first place. But then when we get it home, it won't fit in the bucket because the stand.
Oh, yeah.
Because the bottom is too big.
Yep.
And then in order to get it in, and then in the winter time, I remember he went out with an ice pick and chipped up gravel and some dirt to get it in an old milk pail or something.
Oh, my goodness.
But in order to get it in, he had to cut off branches. Well, then here's that expensive tree is not all of a sudden like it was.
What kind of a good-humored man was he or not after all this?
Well, I remember the house getting mighty quiet at one point, and I do remember my mother crying, and I remember him using a few expletives
Your mom and dad must have been related to my mom and dad.
And I do remember that he sawed off part of the bottom, and then he sawed off some branches.
Yeah.
And then he got the tree there, and it was not near close to the ceiling as it was originally, and we knew when to shut up and not to say anything. And then I remember he got out the drill, and he drilled holes in the side of the tree.
Yep, I know it.
And then he whittled off those branches that he had cut off, and then tried to put them back into the side of the tree.
Oh, really?
To fill it out.
Oh, my.
And we stayed mighty, mighty quiet until those branches, looked beautiful because they now were out to the side. And it was as perfect a tree as you could ever want. And then all of a sudden, they turned in those holes and turned upside down, and we're now facing down.
Uh-oh.
And oh, my Lord. We all started laughing, and my dad pulled them out and threw them away. My mother threw the sheet underneath, and out came the presents, and we really had a good Christmas. But there was a lesson there. Be happy with what you got because.
Do you find, Gary, though, that in the older days when you and I were growing up, like at my grandparents' home, they had the extremely high-ceilinged homes back in the old homes, and my grandfather on my mother's side, he absolutely delighted in trying to find a tree that would probably, I'm thinking they had like 16-foot ceiling right there. It was huge. And he'd make sure that that tree was almost to the top of that ceiling. I mean, they really went out and got some big trees.
Well, we didn't because our family was very, very poor. And they had lost everything out at Kaimai at the north side of them, and they moved down to this place. They barely could afford a tree, and they had rebuilt the house then, and the ceiling was only 7 feet.
Wow.
So then by the time you got it in a stand, you couldn't get more than a 6-foot tree in there. But it was all economics. We couldn't afford an $8 or a $10 tree, you know, because you used to buy them at 1, 2, 3. You could get them at every size thing. And so it was all economics. My mother went out and worked, and my dad worked. He worked at the in the sugar beets in the fall, and my mother worked at J.C. Penney's, and we just didn't have a lot of money, and we're very thankful to get whatever. And I sold my lambs, and that's how I got my back-to-school clothes, stuff like this. So we were, we all chipped in to get what we had, and we had always had a lot of food.
Wouldn't you agree, though, and we were talking, every single person that's been on this program this morning said that when they were growing up, times were a little tougher. And wouldn't you agree, though, that those memories from those Christmases seem to stand out the most and the best?
They do, because our family was here. Today, the families are all scattered, and you have to go. Not everyone showed up. Everyone lived here. And then later, after I got out of high school in the 60s, people moved away. They moved to other towns and other places for more money and this and that. And of course, they created their own Christmases and had their own traditions.
You are a historian, a noted historian, and you've written like 15 books, and I have the deepest respect for your ability. With your research and your own personal happenings in your family at Christmas time and everything, how concerned are you right now today of Christmas being on the downhill slide? I'm very concerned about it.
Well, I am too. It's kind of nutsy, as you well know. We had our we had to change everything in Rupert from you know, Merry Christmas and having a nativity scene painted on our government buildings, such as the post office, and had to go just to believe is the only word that we could put on.
And really, do you agree with that philosophy? Because of all the attorneys I've talked to, with the Alliance Defending Freedom and many others across the United States, no, you do not have to change because that's a federal holiday, and it was federalized under the auspices of the birth of Jesus Christ. It hasn't changed.
They have this thing in their heads that you have to still be so politically correct. It's like this guy in Florida that has put up this agnostic hate thing.
The Satanist thing, yes, I saw that.
And he has the right to do that with free speech. So now you have to take it to court, you have to do this, and you have to do that. But the deal is we got a baby Jesus back in the nativity scene at the park, but Channel 7 in Boise just last night aired Christmas City in the park at Rupert. It did a beautiful job on Christmas City that's been going on since the 60s in Rupert.
Good.
And
Good.
did a beautiful show on that. But
Good.
Rupert has celebrated the first Christmas in 1906. So it's been a Christmas City park.
My attitude is, Gary, and you've been on this program many times, never weaken, never take a step backward. Always step forward, because like Davy Crockett said one time when he was in Congress, before he died at the Alamo, if you know you're right, never back up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Amen and hallelujah. There you go. And don't forget what Christmas means.
It's the birth of Jesus.
Thank you. And it's Christ's Mass.
That's right.
Hello.
That's right.
Anybody who doesn't, any idiot who is out there buying Christmas presents is going to have a Christmas dinner and is going to exchange gifts and doesn't believe in Jesus Christ or Christmas is an idiot. Why are they doing it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I want to extend to you and yours a very Merry Christmas, and I've got some other folks I need to get on also. But I want to say right after we get done with the Christmas and New Year's celebrations, we need to get together because we've got a project that you got to continually kick me in the south end to get it done.
You have a problem.
I have a major problem.
I've seen all your pictures and all your stories, and you don't type.
Not worth a hoot.
I'm going to give you a typing lesson.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know if I want to have you come over or not.
Remember old Grandpa? You come from an old German family, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
strict.
Too
German.
soon we get old and too late we get smart.
How
Remember
true
that
is, yes.
Merry Christmas to you.
God bless you, Gary.
And by
Thanks
the
for
way,
coming by.
Anybody that's not here should come over. Deanne's got some great food out here. This
I agree
is good.
with you. Hey, thanks again for coming by.
Thanks.
God bless you. Gary Shoresman. Let me get these good words on right now and remind you about Cassia County School Days. Oh, my goodness sakes, we usually have that on Thursdays, but today, of course, being our Christmas show, but we still want to say thanks to our sponsors, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and, of course, they're celebrating Christmas with all the toys, the family games, the books, the puzzles, everything, clothing at A Child's World. 1308 Overland in Burley, along with the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley, 677-8888. Always with the best and lowest cost for you on outpatient surgery. So give them a call at 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center in A Child's World, bringing you School Days in Cassia County. Deanne, you want to send in somebody else? We've got time for more visits, please, if you would. And we welcome your phone calls at 436-22. Well, here comes a dear friend. I've got to have this man sit down and talk. He and his lovely wife have been so supportive of all of our lunch bunches and our other gatherings, and he's got his Christmas walking stick with him this morning, and that is beautiful with Santa Claus at the top and Christmas well wishes. And then what is it? Oh, and then it says on Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer, all the reindeer right on the other side. Jimmy Flowers, how are you, my friend?
I am just so good, I'm fit as a fiddle. That's because I'm so high-strung.
Well, it almost went right over my head. Yesterday, we had quite a gathering right there at Denny's restaurant. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was. Good food, too.
Oh, super nice people. Yep. You know, really, we hit a home run when we moved the lunch bunch over there because they really care.
Yes, they go out of their way to accommodate us, and it's nice to be appreciated.
It is. And you, of course, with your lovely wife, Frida, all ready to celebrate Christmas. Now, I'm going to ask you the same thing I've asked everybody else this morning. Are you from this area originally?
Yes, sir.
Born and raised in this area, huh?
Pretty much all the time in Burley. We lived in Hebron for a while.
Okay. And
time we was in the service, we was gone, but
now you were in the Navy, right?
No, I started in the Guard, and then I put in about 2.5 years of active duty.
I see. In what branch?
The Army.
Oh, the Army. Yeah. Okay. And
started in the 6th Army.
I see. Did you have to spend any Christmases away from home?
No, I come pretty close to one. Got home 2 days early.
2 days, and that must have been pretty special.
It was. I enjoyed the Thanksgiving away because usually it was crowded at home, and everybody else on base at that time had left, and there was only a handful of us there, and they treated us really well.
Did they? Now, Jimmy, what fond memories? Take care, folks. Thank you so much.
Bye, Gary.
What fond memories of Christmas growing up do you have? What's your favorite memory?
Yeah, you know, me and the wife was talking about that on the way out here, and we both had great memories as kids.
Yeah.
But the one memory we remember the most is after we'd been married a few years. We decided to go get our own tree.
Oh, really?
Yes, and we went with some good friends, and we picked out a tree, and he says, that tree's way too big. And I said, that tree's not very big. And he says, they look smaller out in the wild. And come to find out, he was right, because when we got it home, there was no way we could get it through the door.
Really?
So we measured it, and we cut off at least 2 foot off the bottom. And then we tried to get it inside the door. And before we were through with that tree, we had cut the 2 corners on the back clear to the trunk, clear to the core, and the core was in the corner of the wall. Yeah, all the branches, everything come off. And here we had this beautiful, gorgeous-looking big tree, but it's a good thing you couldn't see the back of it.
Oh, my goodness.
And like Gary said, after it sat there for a couple of weeks and the branches finally went down, it wouldn't go back out the door, although half of it was gone. And we ended up cutting it up in 2-foot pieces to haul it out. And it took probably 2 months to clean up the mess. I mean, there was needles and crap everywhere.
Oh, my goodness.
But that's the one we remember the most.
And probably with the fondest memories.
Oh, there were just the two of us, you know, and hadn't been married very long. And it was fun.
Oh, my. And really, I can remember Deanne and I, we used to always have a fresh cut tree in our house.
Right.
And all through the time, the kids were growing up here and everything. And then we decided here not too many years ago that it was kind of a hassle. And with my old busted up knees getting on the floor and trying to balance that thing in the tree stand and put the screws in on each side and then change, you know, you've been through that.
Yeah.
And all the sap and everything. We decided we'd get a phony tree. And I got to be honest with you, I still love the real trees better. I absolutely love the smell at Christmas time and everything, but it's so much easier. And you know what else I found out? It's easier on the marriage, too.
Well, what we've got now is she's got a Boise State tree.
I see.
It's blue and orange.
Boise State tree.
Yeah, and it's got lights on it. And
do you always invite your vandal friends over to celebrate?
No. But you'd be surprised at the various assortment of Boise State Christmas tree ornaments that are available out there.
Really?
And she's got a real nice helmet on the top for a star.
Oh, my goodness sakes. A blue and orange tree.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't know that you were big Boise State fans.
Oh, she's one of the biggest.
Really?
Yeah.
They kind of faltered a little bit. Maybe better luck next year.
Yeah, they blew it.
But I will say, in credit to the Vandals, they're playing in a bowl game this afternoon.
And I'm wishing them the best of luck.
They've come a long way.
Yes, they have.
And the only way was up.
That's true. Yeah, and they've had their problem with coaches.
Yeah, they did.
And I think they got a good one now.
I do, too. Yeah. But we wish them the best. Anything else about Christmas that you might have celebrated a little bit different? Other than having a tree in your front room for 7.5 months.
It took most of the front room.
Right.
I heard them talking about breakfasts and dinners. My mother, she was strong on pancakes, and that's all we usually had. And Christmas dinner was just a regular dinner.
I see.
It was a nice one. But I had 3 sisters growing up. And
really?
I was the only boy.
Oh, I bet you were picked on.
I didn't get any special treatment.
You were growing up now. Were they all older than you?
Oh no. I had one 8 years older, one 8 years younger,
I see.
One 12 years younger. So Mom spread us out.
I see. Okay. Born and raised in this area and celebrate Christmas here all your life.
Yes, sir.
That's pretty nice. And you've got a wonderful wife, and
Oh, she's my best friend.
Well, she is. I can tell that. And we're honored to have you not only with the Lunch Bunch, but also as a friend. Thank you so much.
Oh, we're honored to know you and Deanne, and to be associated with you is special.
Well, we've had a lot of fun. Yesterday was a special day. Met a lot of nice people, and Thomas over there at Denny's and everything. And I felt bad the week before we were going to have it, and the weather really kind of poo-pooed on us. And then we thought we were going to have the same thing again.
I guess there was some that showed up both times.
Oh, dear. Well, it's just unfortunate. But, Jimmy, I got to do some commercials, and then I want to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas.
As I leave, I'll leave you with one last saying. Is when we're gone, the only thing people have is memories of us. So try to leave the best one you can.
There you go. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, my friend.
You
God
are
bless.
a dear friend. God bless. Merry Christmas to you.
I appreciate your friendship.
Thank you. You might go out there and say, next. Okay. Thanks, Jimmy. God bless you. Jimmy Flowers, and I just love those folks. They've been so good to us. I've got something I want to take care of, and I don't know if I have enough time to do it right now. Every year at Christmas time, well, look who walked in and carrying his Chicago Cubs cooler mug. There you go, Pastor Roger Settlemyer. Sit down, have a chair, my dear friend. How are you? Turn your microphone up so everybody can hear you. How are the roads this morning coming out from Twin Falls?
Oh, they are dry.
Are they?
They're good.
Okay, move that mic over real close. Of course, most of the time you don't have to tell a pastor how to speak nice and loud because that's how your sermons are.
That's right.
Okay. Look what I've got over there, the plaque of the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series. See that right there?
I see that. That is really nice.
Oh, it's beautiful. And then I had another of our listeners yesterday give me a Green Bay Packer watch.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, we are ready for Christmas. You know, real quick, Pastor, today, with the political correctness and a very liberal-leaning society, are you concerned about the diminishment and maybe even, like some have forecasted, the demise of Christmas?
No.
Good.
No, not at all.
And why do you say that?
Well, because we've been celebrating Christmas for 2,000 years, and one or two generations isn't going to stop that. And what's happening in America isn't happening in the rest of the world. The Christian church is growing by leaps and bounds in other continents, especially in Africa. The church is growing, and so I'm not concerned about that. And, the Soviet Union, they tried to do away with Christianity, and they couldn't do it. So I'm not worried about that.
Are you at all worried, though, that we are seeing an apathetic society to where people don't want to get involved, people don't want to stand up and say anything, people just kind of come see, come saw? That's what really worries me.
Yeah, that to me, that's more of a concern is the spiritual welfare of people, and people becoming lukewarm, not concerned about truth and the truth of Scripture. Yeah, that's a concern to me, more so than, whether we celebrate Christmas or not, which I don't think we'll stop doing. So.
Well, I certainly hope not. I'm going to take a break in just a moment, and there's a couple of things I want to do with you this morning on the air. First of all, I would love for you to embellish again the Christmas story, if you would, from St. Luke, and give us your thoughts on that. And then, I don't know if you were here last year when I read the poem called The Legend of the Little Donkey. I don't know if you heard that or not.
I remember that, yes.
I'm going to do that again right after the break. We're going to go to the break right now over at the main studio, and immediately after this break we'll be right back. It's been a long morning. Pastor Roger Settlemyer and myself right here in the studio, along with lots of other friends coming by for our Christmas special. We'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much, and welcome to our last half hour of our Christmas show. And I would be amiss if I did not do the poem called The Legend of the Little Donkey. And I'm going to do that right now and then segue right into our Christmas story with Pastor Roger Settlemyer here in the studio this morning. There are many Christmas legends, and this is one of them, about the little donkey Mary rode to Bethlehem. In his haste to start their journey, Joseph bought what he could find. and he led it from the market, never knowing it was blind. As they had traveled all the morning and the sun had risen high, Joseph said that they should rest beneath the trees nearby. He dropped the rope the donkey wore and lifted Mary down, but the little donkey stumbled on a rock upon the ground. And Joseph, looking closer, passed his hand before the eyes of the frightened little donkey, but his heart could not despise the animal's infirmity, remembering that he, at its steady gait, had borne the weight of Mary patiently. He gently took the donkey's rope and led him neath the shade, where Mary sat upon a little blanket that she had made. She softly whispered to him, and he seemed to understand, and he edged a little closer as he nibbled at her hand. And the small one never faltered through each long and weary mile, and Joseph led him carefully, for Mary was with child. And he held his head up proudly with frequent joyous sighs, for his heart saw what he could not with his sightless little eyes. And drawing near the city, a weary Joseph found no room except a stable on the outskirts of the town. So they shared it with the oxen and made a bed of hay, so Mary and her newborn child could rest throughout the day. And the little donkey stood against the old rough stable wall, contented just to listen to angels' songs and all, when suddenly about him there appeared a wondrous light that fell across his rough brown coat and blazed across the night. And raising up his blessed hand, the child smiled tenderly, and the little donkey staggered back, amazed, for he could see. There are many Christmas legends, and this is one of them. They say it really happened long ago in Bethlehem. Pastor, that's one of my favorites.
That's a cute little story.
Oh, I love that song, that story about the little donkey. So many people look at Christmas as running to the store and trying to buy everything within sight, drop it into their carts, hurry home. Oh, they forgot one for Uncle Martha or Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred. That's not Christmas. Mm-mm. It's all about what you're about to tell us right now. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's all about the account in Luke chapter 2, the account of the birth of Jesus, our Lord. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria. And all went to be taxed, every one into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flocks by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Saviour, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, Let us now go even unto Bethlehem, and see this thing which is come to pass, which the Lord has made known unto us. And they came with haste, and found Mary and Joseph, and the babe lying in a manger. And when they had seen it, they made known abroad the saying which was told them concerning this child. And all they that heard it wondered at those things which were told them by the shepherds. But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things they had heard and seen, as it was told unto them.
You know, isn't it amazing that a couple of thousand years ago, that little baby that was born in a manger goes on to be still today the most prominent figure, really, in our history, and we still look to that baby in the manger as leadership for our Christianity today.
Yep, he is our Lord and our Savior, and those Johnson & Johnson commercials, having a baby changes everything.
Yeah,
there
that's
it is,
true.
Right there.
That's really true.
Changed everything. The history of the world is changed by Christ.
Let me ask you a couple of questions. I just love the way you read that story, the Christmas story, but what about you growing up? I've asked everybody else this morning. Born and raised where?
In Tucson, Arizona. Well, I was born in Chicago, of course.
Yeah, I know the Cubs.
Yeah,
I know we've been there, done that. Yeah,
but I was really raised in Tucson, Arizona, where
really?
We moved. My mom had asthma real bad, and we needed to leave Chicago and go to a dry climate. So I grew up dreaming about snow, and because I never had it.
Really?
Yeah.
So did your family do anything different as far as Christmas traditions while you were growing up?
No, I think we were pretty much a traditional family, you know, Christmas tree, Christmas lights, other than, you know, going swimming on Christmas Day in the pool in the backyard and playing golf the day after Christmas. You know, it is different being in the desert for Christmas when, you know, everything else, you know, you think about snow and all of that. With Christmas we didn't have that, but otherwise, you know, going to church, worshiping, Christmas dinner at my uncle's house every year, those were the things that
wasn't it the first time that you actually celebrated a Christmas in the snow is when you moved to the Dakotas? Is that correct?
That would be right.
Now, you went from one extreme to completely the other.
Yes.
What was that like? What was the culture shock on that?
Boy, that was a shock. Yeah. And 30 or 40 below zero.
Oh,
you know, and then we went from North Dakota to Alberta, Canada.
Oh my!
And then back to North Dakota. So I retired first and got that out of the way, and then moved north.
Really?
So.
You know, when you go from Tucson, Arizona, and you go back to the Dakotas, not only is it a culture shock, but it's almost like you have to relearn and retrain yourself to do normal things that you did in the desert. You can't do in the cold.
Right. And it takes longer to get ready to go anywhere because you've got to put on so many clothes, and especially when you've got 3 little kids and trying to get them, you know, into the car. And
was there any difference in like being a pastor in a warmer climate and then going to the Dakotas and these people, I mean, with the snow and the adversity that they have to go through to take care of their livestock in the wintertime and just to get the trucks and the cars started? I mean, that must have been really something.
It is. It is different, but I really enjoyed it. When we moved away from St. Louis and moved to rural North Dakota, I really loved it.
All of North Dakota's rural, though. Come on.
I really liked it. I really fell in love with rural life and with farming and ranching.
Was that the first time you'd been exposed to it like that?
I spent a year in Iowa, and that was my first exposure to it.
Yeah.
But then in North Dakota, really, and I loved it. I loved it. I didn't ever want to go back to the city.
Really?
Never had any desire for that. I love the people. I love the life. I love the culture of rural America. And I would never, ever want to go to a big city ever again.
And then after the Dakotas, you went up to Alberta, Canada?
Alberta, Canada.
Now, what was it like up there in the wintertime?
Even colder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember one Christmas, we had 2 weeks where the daytime highs never got above 40 below zero.
Whoa. Let's back up a minute. The daytime high was not above 40 below?
Right. for 2 weeks.
How did you exist in that, especially with small children?
Oh, you just bundle up and you stay inside and you go out only when you have to.
Oh, my goodness. What about the vehicle starting and everything? I know I went to school at the University of Minnesota, and we had to make sure everything was plugged in.
Yep. You plugged everything in, and when you plugged it in, you know, the engine block heaters would keep it warm, and it would start up.
Wow.
But my father-in-law came to visit, and they lived 300 miles further north in Alberta. He was a pastor way up north.
Way up north.
And he had a Cummins diesel, and we would plug that thing in and put a battery charger on it just to keep that thing so it would start at 40 below zero.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a weather forecast right now, and then right after the weather forecast, I have asked a beautiful lady with a beautiful voice to call in and sing Silent Night. And then Pastor and I will, I'll go through one more poem that is a standard fare for our program every year at Christmas time. And then at the very end of the program, I'm going to ask Pastor Settlemeyer to give us a Christmas prayer to wrap up our show for today. Okay with you?
Sounds good.
Okay, here's our weather forecast, brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time, and they've got delicious marinated prime ribs and delicious smoked turkeys, and they can put together all the different gift boxes of the various meats for Christmas. You'd better call them today. 324-7657. Scarrows Meats over in Jerome, absolutely delicious. Here's Gina with our weather forecast.
Looks like we are going to be having a white Christmas. Here is your weather forecast for today. Looks like partly cloudy skies, high of 31, tonight low of 16. Going to be a little bit on the breezy side for today. Winds out of the east, right around 12 miles an hour. For tomorrow, we are expecting afternoon rain and or snow showers. Going to be warming up to about 36 with an overnight low of 29. Snow showers are expected for Saturday, high of 33 with an overnight low of 21. And for Christmas Day itself, going to be a snowy day, high of 23 with an overnight low of 8. And then for Monday, partly cloudy and 21. That is your Christmas weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. I appreciate it. And Merry Christmas from Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. Let me check over at the main studio wheels. Has Linda Croft called in yet?
Yes, sir. She just did right on time.
She's a wonderful lady. Linda, good morning to you. Merry Christmas.
Good morning, Zeb. Merry Christmas.
Linda, I'm a little bit shy on time, but I would like you to do 2 verses, if you would, of Silent Night, and I now will turn it over to you. You have the stage, my dear. Go ahead.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas.
on behalf of my wife and myself and all the folks connected with my program, you have been so supportive of this program and our lunch bunch. We wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you for being on the program.
It has been a pleasure and will continue to be, Zeb. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone.
God bless you, my dear friend. Thank you so much. Lovely lady, lovely voice, and what a great personality. I just really enjoy Linda Croft. Thank you so much. Every year we've done this, and I've wrapped up the program with the poem called The Last Christmas Ride, and it's a poem that I put together about 12, 13 years ago, and we get asked to do this every Christmas Eve program, if you will, and then following that we're going to have Pastor with our Christmas prayer for this year. The old cowboy pulled on his weathered boots and tugged at his hat. He grabbed an old bulky grain sack and gave his horse a pat. The wind was a-howlin' and the snow was fallin' fast. He knew he'd better get started 'cause this Christmas would be his last. The doctors in the city had given him all the bad news. He had the villain cancer. It was bad, according to their views. But ride he would one last time to spread some Christmas cheer. The crunch of the snow, the cold of the night, he loved this time of year. He'd leave his gifts on ranch house porches and silently retreat. And just before stepping in the saddle, he fed old Gray a carrot to eat. 2 more ranches to spread some joy on this cold Christmas Eve. Boy, he sure was gonna miss playing Santa as he wiped a tear on his sleeve. They trudged along in the winter storm when all at once a flash of light. Whoa, he yelled as old Gray bogged his head and tried to run in fright. 3 angels sat a horseback on steeds just as white as snow. They told the old cowboy, "Follow us." He knew then it was his time to go. The old cowboy felt at ease as he touched a spur to old Gray's flanks. "I know it, Lord. I appreciate the good times," and he closed his eyes with thanks. But lo, the angels stopped and dropped their reins and looked him in the eyes. "You'll not ride with us at this time," he heard to his surprise. "Go ahead and spread the Christmas cheer for many years to come. Good folks like you are hard to find." The old cowboy felt numb. He watched them as he rode past the star and around the Milky Way. What wonders had he seen tonight on the eve of the world's greatest day? He shifted in the saddle and suddenly realized there was no more pain. The Lord had gifted him with healing. His joyous tears fell like rain. And every Christmas Eve for years, the old cowboy would ride for others' joy and thank the Lord in heaven for sending Jesus, his wonderful little boy. Pastor?
Let us pray. Almighty God, Heavenly Father, in your great mercy you gave your Son to be our Savior. By his birth at Bethlehem, his suffering on Calvary's cross, his resurrection from the dead on Easter Sunday morning, you have redeemed all of mankind, all sin paid for, everything finished by Christ on the cross. For this great gift of salvation we praise you, O God. For the mercies that you bestow upon us, we are so grateful. We thank you, Lord, for our family and friends. As we gather this Christmas season, we ask that you would grant safe travel, watch over and protect us. Let your holy angels be with us, that the evil foe might have no power over us. All of this we ask in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord, who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, one God, now and forever. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Settlemeyer, for coming out this morning, our Christmas special, and with our major sponsor that has been with us so many years. We'll wrap up the program in just a moment. I will take one more call before we say goodbye for this morning after I mention that all 7 Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a safe New Year. All the best in tires, all the best in tire chains, brake service, front end alignment, climates, they really care. Stop in and make sure that you can drive much safer to Grandma's or maybe to Aunt Martha's and Uncle Fred's. Stop in and see your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, I've got 2 minutes. Go ahead, please.
Well, Zeb, that poem and the prayer was great. This is Ray Bagby, and I just wanted to wish you and Deanna, your whole family, and everybody else a Merry Christmas.
God bless you, Ray, and I promise after the first of the year I will be coming out to look at that beautiful stage, and to you and all the people that work out there, Merry Christmas.
Okay, I will, and we look forward to seeing you, and thanks, Zeb. Goodbye.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you about what we're going to do next week. I will not be alive on the program. I'm not going to be dead either, I hope, but I'm going to have reruns for next week, and it's only for the purpose of Deanna and I just need to have a little time with our family, and so we're going to spend next week with some of the reruns. You may be a little concerned about hearing, well, my goodness, it might be July, it might be August. No, don't worry about it. These are reruns of Zeb at the Ranch, and thanks to John Ellis, thanks to Gino over at the station and Wheels. That's what we're going to do next week, because we're going to spend some time with our family. And may I say this, Merry Christmas to you, your family, God's blessings. I hope each and every one of you have a great big smile on your face all the way through this weekend for the family times that you'll remember forever. Wheels, if you would please play a little Christmas music right now, take us out of here. Merry Christmas, everybody. God bless. We'll see you in about 2 weeks. Thank you.